I experienced a lot of disappointments when I was a kid, a lot of moments where I felt anger for things that were unfair. A lot of things I wanted, I couldn't have. We didn't have a lot of money, I was almost always in situations where I was like, but why can't I? But why? But why? But why? And
Yeah.
knowing that I want that life, I was just never okay with the idea that oh, it's faith, I'm just not lucky. I didn't believe in that.
Knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. Knock him out the box.
Ani Agassi. Agassi or Agassi?
Well, I'm Armenian, so the
Yes.
Armenian, like real authentic version of the pronunciation is Agassi, but Americans call me Agassi or Agassi. I think Agassi sounds more closer to the original. So
Right.
yeah,
Well, there's also Andre Agassi that sort
Right.
of like put the name,
right,
into
tennis player.
everybody's, brains. So I think Agassi, but
Right, I mean,
not to be-
hey,
no relation though.
no,
Although he does have Armenian
I
descent.
think he's Persian Armenian.
Yeah.
Well, Agassi is actually my grandpa's first name. I took his first name as my last name. I had a different last name.
Interesting.
Yeah, so his 80th
Why is that?
birthday. His 80th birthday, I just decided to, because I just thought it sounded really cool,
Yeah.
and I thought it was a really cool surprise. And I don't know, it just sounded
I
so
love that
cool to
name,
me. And
though.
I was
Yeah.
like, he's my grandpa. I had his last name too, but then I just wanted to make a closure
Yeah.
and, take his
I
first
think it's
name
a
as my
great
last
name.
name.
It rolls well. Ani Agassi, however
Yeah,
you
I
want to
think
say
it
it.
sounds
But
good.
not to be confused with Andre Agassi, the tennis player.
Definitely not related.
Yeah.
Those sometimes here and there I tell people that we are,
Yeah. Doesn't hurt.
skip the line.
Yeah,
and
I'm
stuff.
trying to burn the name. It doesn't hurt. Like you're kind of like, it's called riding the tailcoats of another brand. That's like brand tailcoating. It's not a bad thing. Like you still got to have your own content or something to offer.
No,
But it doesn't hurt to
Absolutely.
link it to somebody.
No, it does
that's
not
pretty
hurt
awesome.
me at all. It's
Yeah.
pretty awesome,
Yeah.
actually. No,
I mean, I'm
it's pretty awesome.
Rick Dukhovny, so I don't have a problem with people. Oh, like
Right,
David Dukhovny.
right.
Yes, just like that.
Right. And then it's funny how
Link me to him.
I think like names and last names have energy too, because Andre Agassi has such a successful, that Agassi has such a successful story around it, that having
Yes.
the same last name kind of like brings me that feeling of
yes.
it's a last name of a very successful
It gets your
person.
foot in the door. Then you got to deliver.
Psychologically. Yeah.
So okay, so Ani, so what do you do? Like, tell everybody what you do.
What don't I do?
Or what don't you do?
What don't I do? I am a visual artist. I'm a graphic designer. I'm a photographer. I'm a director. I'm a producer. I just create visual content for other people, other creatives. I work mostly with musicians. Currently, I'm focused on mainly video production, but I still do other creative work on the side when I have the time.
So what are some examples? Like what type of work do you do?
Currently,
what kind of content?
I do
Like-
work on a lot of music videos,
Okay.
and recently it's been kind of like popular or trending. A lot of musicians are creating live performance videos,
Yeah.
nicely shot, kind of like artistic stuff that kind of looks like music video, but
Yep.
it's not really a music video. It's just a live performance video coverage.
Right.
So we are trying to bring visual creativity into live music by creating beautiful footage with live music performance.
Gotcha.
So that's
within
what-
the live performance, like the visuals, or using live performances to create the footage afterwards,
No.
like content
kind
within
of
the performance.
within the performance.
like at a concert, making it more interactive, more visually
that's for
stimulating.
the future, but
Yeah.
right now we are not having any audience.
Got it.
This is just a live performance style video where if you were to sit at home and watch this, it would look like a live performance.
Got
but you don't
it.
know if there's an audience or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there something you guys do different that
The difference that
Hasn't been
we
done?
provide is the sets. We actually very strategically, very creatively are designing the sets. Me and my partner, Daria, shout out to Daria. So
Yeah.
we are focused on creating beautiful, out of standard sets. And we are trying to match the set designs with the personality and the characteristics of the musicians that we are shooting. So yeah, the project is gonna launch, I think, beginning of August. So we are
Okay.
creating a lot of content right now.
So where can people see your stuff? Like if I wanted to
Well,
know
YouTube
who you
will
are.
be the main, obviously social media too, but all the the
YouTube?
work will be on YouTube.
Okay. Under
Yeah.
what? How do we find it? Just
It's the name is 2 Hertz Projects.
2
2HZ Projects. 2 Hertz.
2HZ project. 2 Hertz
2 Hertz Projects.
project.
Mm-hmm.
Project.
Projects with an S. Yeah.
With an S. Got it. Okay, so
So that's
like-
what's happening currently in my life. That's what's
Yeah.
taking most of my time. But again, I do, independent artists. I
Yeah.
do music videos for independent artists. I still do a lot of photography, logo designs here and there. So
right.
literally what I can get my hands on and what brings me happiness and joy in the process.
Right.
I'll
You're an
take
ultra
it.
creative. Like you just need to be creating all the time.
That's kind of what
expressing
how
yourself.
life guided me through, experiences. I didn't choose to do. It kind of almost, I want to say, like, I didn't choose this life chose
chose
me.
you.
Literally,
Yeah.
that's what it feels like. All these things just came into my life, and
I'm
I had the
envious of that.
capacity to handle, and
Yeah.
it's just effortlessly happening.
Okay, so before I jump into your story, like what do you want to do with this? Like is there like an ultimate goal? Do you have a like a North Star?
Honestly, we are
number one
learning
why?
in the process. I don't know, and I'm not feeling bad about not knowing right now. I just know there is so much passion. I'm kind of open for opportunities to open up for me from there.
Got it. Go with
Right.
the flow.
Go with the flow.
Just keep learning,
Yeah.
creating,
Right.
and each thing is
Right.
like a stepping stone to
Right.
the next.
Right.
I'm
So
kinda like-
my own personal goal outside the project that I'm working on is to purely direct, because I do a lot more right now. Let's say, for example, I'm working on a music video. I am the person taking care of most things.
Yeah.
The production process, directing, sometimes shooting, editing. It gets overwhelming.
How do you feel about producing podcasts?
I have never done it. I don't know what the process is, but I
Alright.
can learn. Maybe
Alright.
one day
We'll
Who
see.
knows?
See if it
3 years
naturally.
ago, I had no idea
Yeah.
I would create music videos. So
Yeah,
who
I'm
knows?
really. I love to have an organic approach to life. Like you plan things and you have, like goals and objectives, but then you have to
absolutely.
flow because
Absolutely. I think
you don't know
need
what's gonna
to-
happen.
You need to have
Yeah.
a goal. 3 years ago, when I first started playing around, creating videos, I realized I do have a natural given talent to see the frame the way that I see. And then at that point, I made 2-3 small, just creative videos I shot for no reason.
On your own, or
on
you
my
had a crew?
own, on my own.
On your
nothing,
own?
Yeah,
With a
nothing
camera
crazy.
or-
just
or a phone?
I have a 5D Mark IV. It's
Okay.
a nice camera. It shoots very beautiful.
Okay.
The quality of the video
Yeah.
is really great. So yeah, I started playing around, and then I realized it's really happening for me. Then my goal at that time, 3 years ago, was to direct music videos, and that's what I do now.
What genre? Curious.
I did not really limit myself. Anything I could get my hands on.
Why? Why music
I
videos?
just had passion for creating videos.
Do you
I
like watching
cannot-
music? Did you always grow up
I
watching
grew up
music?
watching music videos, and
You
I
know
found
why you like them,
out-
or you don't really
I don't
can't
really
put your
know.
finger on
I
it?
don't really know. I don't question that. I just know I love it.
How do you know you're passionate about it? How did you know?
I get
you
excited in
obsessing,
the
or
process.
what
I'm obsessively wanting to make more, obsessively wanting to do my next one better than my previous one, and I don't know why that is.
Right.
That's just how I'm built, I guess.
Do you see a progression in your
Absolutely.
music videos?
Absolutely.
In what way?
I
Like-
have shot 7 music videos in 2020, and my first 7 music videos in 1 year.
That was your first 7.
My first 7 official music videos that I got paid as a director to
Wow.
create music videos.
Okay, all right.
So I saw progress so fast
Yeah.
within such a small time frame that it freaked me out too. I still can't believe this is happening. Like sometimes I
Interesting.
still like shit in my pants because
Right.
it's scary. But
Well, I think you hit on something. Like you're-
I think so.
it's the like number one question.
yeah,
I
and it
think,
happened
for
very
everybody.
effortlessly, and very fast.
We all hate you.
Sorry, guys.
Just kidding. No, but like like I used to envy like people that are like, oh my god, I have to play the guitar, and I'm like, dang, I wish I knew because I didn't know for so long.
Yeah, I think it's that
That's why.
hunger.
Yeah,
Once
we
you
all
feel
want it.
that hunger.
It's such a great thing. I want people. That's kind of why we do the show because I want people to try to find it. Because I think my philosophy is everyone's got that hunger. It just may not be as like easy to find. Like Because
Honestly,
I
I don't
didn't
even
find podcasting till I'm
I don't
46
even
years
think
old.
you necessarily have to find it. It's not findable.
Okay.
It's
I know.
not.
It's in you.
You just have to try things.
That's what I'm saying.
All you have to do is just,
It's
if you have a curiosity
right.
about whatever it is, all you have to do is try.
Yes. That's what I mean. It's in you.
Right. And let me
but you
tell
have
you
to go find
how,
it by trying.
by
Because
doing
what
it.
if you never got exposed to music videos? The production. How did you find
So that's what I
first
was.
get exposed? Yeah.
That's how I was gonna. That's what I was gonna tell next. So my friend Liz, she's a dancer. 3 years ago, 2018, I believe September. I met my friend Liz at a party, and that was around the time when I was trying to do photography. I was searching for dancers,
Yeah.
people who know how to move and flow, and I wanted to do some photography. Met Liz, dancer, beautiful. I presented myself as a pretty professional photographer, yet I just started doing photography professionally, even though I did have the education for it. So she invited me over to her loft. We took some pictures, and then they came out beautiful, and she's
Yeah.
beautiful. She knows how to move in front of the camera, and she asked me to take some short videos, and she said, look, I have a friend who knows how to edit, just take some clips. I want to make something fun for Instagram. I was like, okay. All I had to do is just press one
Yeah.
button. I didn't know that videography and photography were so close. So I just made some random clips, went home, worked on the pictures. I was pretty happy with those. Then I was like, okay, let me email her the footage that she
Yeah.
asked for. But I was curious. I clicked on one of the videos that I took, and I watched it, and then I was like, I wonder if I can edit. And then at that time, I was already out of school, so I knew how to use Premiere. So I made a short 1-minute video with with a song that I was obsessed at that time. I used that song to make a small edit, and I sent it to her. I said, look, like she's a dancer, she's got a big follower, her content is really good, and I wasn't sure if I did good or not. I liked it.
Yeah.
Then I was like, I'll send it to her. If it's good, she'll post it. If it's crap, then obviously she's not going to put this on her page. She posted, and she called me the next day after I sent her the video. She asked for another one. I was like, okay, yeah, sure.
Did it ever cross your mind not to send it to her? Like, oh my God, what am I doing?
I don't
What do I-
remember, but I'm sure I thought of
Yeah.
that.
Because I think that happens to like 99% of us at some point in our lives.
Yeah.
I've given up a lot of opportunities just like thinking, oh, I don't want to get taken advantage, or I don't know what I'm doing, or whatever overthinking.
Yeah, it's that thought. I don't know what I'm doing, because you
Yeah.
haven't done that before. You don't have the experience.
Right.
You think you're not good because you haven't done it before.
I know.
Oh,
It's everything I've
it's
ever done.
yeah,
I felt that way.
Yeah.
So
Even
gotta
now,
get
I
over
already
it.
have enough experience to know what I'm doing, and I do know what I'm doing.
right.
But before every shoot, a night before, I get this anxiety thinking that, am I gonna be able to handle this? Is this
What if I ran out? What if the last one was it?
Yes.
Can I tell you? I told my wife when I had Johnny on Lieberman, because he was kind of like the biggest get, like a lot of fun, and I let it get to me a little bit because I was like, oh, I don't want to mess it up for the team. Like, we've been putting all this work in.
Right.
Here's a big person kind of,
Right.
and I kind of like stuttered at one point. I kind of had a panic attack. I wanted to talk about it because I want people to know none of us know what the fuck we're doing. Like, it's okay. You still show up.
It's
Just
the
be willing to
showing
fall on your
up.
face. And I
It's the
told her,
showing up.
like, yeah, I kind of had a panic attack. I remember going, what was I saying? And then Johnny was such a sweet guy. He's like, oh, you were talking about, he's trying to jog. And I'm like, and I go, you know what? It's okay. It's all right. We'll just edit it out. And then I go, you know what? Fuck it. Don't edit it out. And then Stephanie's like, that was like the best part of the podcast when that
Yeah,
happened. And then
honestly-
we got back on track, and I was telling my wife this story, and she's like, you get nervous? And I'm like, every fucking time. She goes, what do you mean? And I'm like, what do you mean? You think I don't get nervous? I always tell you I get nervous about posting, let alone a live. Like, she goes, I just thought you look so comfortable.
I feel you.
And I'm like, no, every time right before, I think, or during, I'm like, I just push it aside because I'm old enough now to know that that's bullshit. That's my bullshit talking, right? And it's just my fear, my
that's
defense
necessary.
mechanism
That's
to look for
necessary
fear,
too,
look for
right.
danger.
Right.
So I just go, it's not real.
Right.
Like, it
It's
hasn't
good
really,
to have that.
Yeah, it's good to
kind
have.
of like it brings a sense of you're protected.
Yeah, should I climb
Even though
this
that's not the
mountain with
case,
no cables? Like, I've never done. You know what, Rick? That's
Yeah.
probably a good fear, right? But like, what if they hate me? What if I suck? What if I'm not good? And what if today's the day I have nothing to say? What if I have nothing to say to you? I thought about it. It crossed my mind,
Right.
and I just quickly like go, shut up.
Right.
It's kind of like, you know how you practice meditation, and at first you're not
Same
good
thing.
at it, and I'm not really good at it yet, but I know the concepts.
I mean, I don't think there's such thing as being good
Yeah,
at
you
meditating.
practice.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
you just have to practice pushing it aside.
Right. I
So-
feel I feel you on that. The other day, you know, things get hard. Sometimes we get in our emotions. Sometimes we have nervous or mental breakdowns. Sometimes we have to cry and it just feel shitty. You know, it's fine. And then
How often do you feel shitty?
honestly, it used to happen a lot more often, but
Yeah.
I want to say with meditating constantly
Yeah.
and working on myself constantly, being positive and just being aware of myself, it happens a lot less. A lot less.
less, right?
Maybe a couple times a year. But when it happens,
It's a bad
it
day.
happens.
Because it's like,
It's not a bad day, but now when it happens,
yeah,
what makes it sound bad is that I don't try to cover it up. I let it out. If I'm feeling really bad, I allow myself to feel
Right.
really bad. I'm not going
Right.
to distract myself. I'm not going to go out to drink a drink with a friend of mine to brush it off and not think about it.
right.
I just fully get into
Embrace
that
it.
mood and embrace it. And if I need to stay in for a couple days, feel shitty, I'll do that. Once I'm out, I'm out.
Right. I appreciate that. Just to share back,
Yes.
I used to have a lot of bad days. Like whole days. Like not like the whole day's bad, but just overall,
Right.
shitty day. Right? Like a 4 out of 10. Right? And it was obviously me, my mindset. It's something that's evolved, like becoming emotionally intelligent. And I guess I'm just sharing that we all have shitty days, but it gets better. Like if you work on
Of course it
yourself
does.
and you
Of course it
find
does.
things you enjoy doing and you become a better communicator and not take things personal. All these little
It's
things.
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of.
But
a
I'm
lot of
telling
work.
you,
it works.
I never have bad days anymore. I'll have bad moments. It's rare that I'll have a whole bad day
Mm-hmm.
because I just got quicker at brushing it off. That's it. It still happens.
It's not even brushing it off. I feel like it's accepting.
Accepting,
It
yeah.
is what it is. There is
Right.
nothing I can do about it. I can get mad technically, but what's the reason of getting mad if
What's the
it's
reason?
gonna make me feel shitty? I'm just gonna,
Never
be
ignoring,
okay
by
with
the way.
it. No,
Never ignoring.
No, acknowledge
Right.
what's happening.
Acknowledge. I would just started becoming aware of it, like noticing it and going, "Oh God, I'm really like cranky right now. Why?" And then you just
There's this one saying by Osho. I'm gonna probably bring up Osho a lot because
Yeah.
I read a lot of Osho. When
Osho is the wild.
No, Osho is the Indian
Yeah,
spiritual
yeah,
leader.
spiritual
Oh
guy
yeah,
that-
they came. He
That documentary
the
that I
documentary
love.
about the cult.
Yeah.
Which was very. By reading Osho and knowing Osho,
Yeah.
that didn't make sense to me, to be honest.
Well, I have to say I love the concept. The takeaway for me was like, damn, man, we should figure out communities like that. It doesn't have to be religious based. It should just be community based like that, where everyone's got a role, everyone has a passion, right? They would try to help people come and figure out how to be self-sufficient, right? And then the other takeaway was that unfortunately the traditional conservative neighborhood couldn't accept them because they would have like, intimate parties.
Which is
Like, who cares?
understandable. People who
It's
don't
consensual.
know, they don't know, and
Right.
it's,
That was my takeaway. I know it was also portrayed as like kind of cultish, but there were so many cool things. Like
yeah.
we're
I
actually
guess
working.
everything has
yeah.
the good and bad side, even
Absolutely.
that.
So I'm not like I love the teachings were really
Oh,
interesting.
he's great. Yeah, one line I was gonna bring up from him. He says, "Once you become aware of it, it doesn't exist anymore. Even the mood, the anger, the anxiety. As soon as you become aware and you accept it,
right.
yeah, it's still gonna be there, but it doesn't bother you as much. It's there.
You take away its power.
Yeah.
For sure.
Instead of letting it take over you,
Mhm.
then you spend your entire day complaining about how shitty things are and just, getting into this negative, cloudy mindset where all you have to just be like,
Right.
I mean,
It's
here.
perspective.
Yeah.
It's perspective and understanding it and, like I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot of things personally and, like, I would take a lot that I had that for most of my life until I really understood it and really understood that nothing's really personal. Whatever somebody's giving me is their own. It's coming from their own
it's
issues.
a very complex
You know,
concept
it's not,
for.
yeah, it's an insecurity I had that once I understood it, it really, and it controlled me because anyone could pull me into their shit at any moment. If somebody came up to me with a bad attitude, I was right there to get in their face, you know. And now it's like I go, something's wrong with you. Like it would control me, and I thought I was being, like, you know,
Taking
honorable
advantage
or
or
being defending my exactly.
No, I feel you.
And it was all in my head. It was all ideas that were taught to me that I never questioned. And once I started questioning everything,
it's the ego, you know, the
the ego,
pre-made,
man.
pre-programmed ego there you're giving.
Coming from insecurity, like as a man, like you better stand up for yourself. Don't take shit. But if somebody's fucked up, let them be fucked up.
Right. There's
It's like,
nothing you
that's
can
your
do
shit,
about
baby.
it.
Right?
100%.
So tell me, now that we have I kind of got a good sense of, you know, who you are, like, which is not that easy to put your finger on, but like very creative, obviously like music videos for whatever reason.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, because look, I mean, I can guess music, obviously, right? Like I love music. Most people love music because it's the rhythm of life, right? The heartbeat, the everybody can, almost everybody loves music, right? So that plus the storytelling aspect of putting video to it and the creativity it allowed, like you could do anything. You literally have a blank canvas, so you're painting.
Exactly. It's just a lot more multi-dimensional and interactive than a canvas for me, because I started from a canvas when I was little. You know, I would paint, I would draw.
Interesting.
Then moved here, went to school here, got a degree in graphic design. That was like next level of creativity. Graphic design program also gave me the, you know, knowledge in photography. So those both of those were happening in my life in my, you know, early 20s in corporations, my jobs after college. And I was getting really bored. I was really getting bored with graphic design. It was just a screen, me, and no one else. And well, again, I enjoyed it. I still enjoy creating graphics, but there is just a lot less human interaction in doing graphic design than creating music videos, where you're on set, you're with the people, you're literally creating, you're turning your vision into a real thing, and you're working with so many people, all these characters, personalities. You get to talk to people, communicate, feel alive. It's a lot more alive than just being stuck at a desk.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it. I mean, I would still like to maybe help you put your finger on it. That'd be interesting. But like, I think I get it. Like, you know, I mean, I'm in film production, so I'm around people that are that way about making a movie.
It's the same thing, except there's the aspect of music that,
right?
That part I cannot explain either. It's a lot deeper than I can understand. But there's definitely a special love for me for music.
Right.
Though I don't play any instruments, I don't sing yet, I want to say. But I guess it's also in my genetics.
Matter.
My father used to be a musician. And
the greatest music producers are not, you know, singing or playing instruments.
Right. So we'll see that.
They have an ability
probably next chapter.
All right.
But yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it.
That being said, what happened with music videos, I combined my love for music and my skills that I gained by doing graphics. I combined those two things. So for me, it was a combination of love and skills when I started, you know, when I got into video making. Passion and skills.
Yeah. But just like, you know, people like making a movie, it's the same. I mean, there's music too. It's just on such a bigger level scale, and right. takes, you're on a project for 3 or more years, maybe. So it's like somebody that likes running, but they like a marathon, and some people like sprinting better. They're still like art, they're their own craft, but there's a lot of similarities. Like you're able to more deeply connect with a song though, because a movie can have a tapestry of songs. You don't have to necessarily connect overly with one song. You get to connect wholeheartedly with one song, tell that one song's exact, specific, beautiful message in whatever way you want. Because with a movie too, you're a little limited. You have this like beginning, middle, and end. So you're you're a little
That's
more
kind of how I
structured.
feel about movie
Videos,
too.
like you could do whatever you can have, like it's only like 3 or 4 minutes, so you can like have a pulsating
That's the
fluorescent
thing, you
light.
know, you don't get bored because you get to constantly work on so many different things. And me being, you know, I have a type of personality, I may get bored very easily from doing the same thing over and over
Me
again.
too.
And I think I would be bored to direct
Right, with
a
one movie, you
you know,
would
if it
get
was to be
bored.
2-3 years, I would. The longest corporation job I had was year and 6 months. That's the longest I could stay in one, you know, environment. So I don't know.
I feel you. I had the same problem. I was in corporate, but I would bounce around every year or so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
That's
it wasn't for
pretty-
me. And I like had to figure myself out. Once I realized, yes,
Okay.
Cannoli? He's got something to say. He wants you to play with him. Once I leaned in, Cannoli, shh, come here. Once I leaned into who I really was, like I get bored, so I always have like 3 or 4 projects going on.
Yeah.
Instead of going, oh, stop doing that, stop getting distracted. So for you, if you were on a movie set, you'd probably want to like shoot somebody because you're
Probably.
going on 3 years editing the same 5-minute scene,
Oh,
and
yeah,
you've
no.
seen it 300 times. Trust me. So it's these people are special, man.
They are special people.
It's like
with so
you're running
much
a triple
patience.
marathon
Yeah.
to make a movie
Oh yeah.
with a. I don't think I don't have the patience. That's
I don't
why
think I
I'm-
would have the patience.
yeah.
Again, I don't want to limit myself and I say I will not
Someday.
or I cannot or I can't. I can if I want to, but definitely not.
I can see you doing it, but I can understand why you like the music video genre because it is essentially
I do
it's all
love music video
storytelling.
genre. I actually recently worked on a fashion project. My first fashion project. It was a creative commercial for a hair product, and I quite enjoyed it, to be honest. There was a lot of feminine energy happening, a lot of creativity. The client gave me 100% freedom to create whatever I saw for the product. And we created something that's very Chanel style. Very like bougie, high-end
Yeah,
commercial with the voiceover, you know, with a very abstract poem going with the voiceover, going over the video. Probably I'll do fashion too. But for now, I definitely not movies. Fashion and music. Yeah.
I feel like whatever you get passionate about, you'll probably be able to be very successful. 'Cause
I think
you're
that's what
very
everyone.
You
that's
seem
what
very
everyone-
creative. You've hit your stride. That's awesome. Okay, so how did you get here? That's what I want to get to. Like, what's your story?
LA. Oof.
Like, what's your story? How did you become the
my
Ani we see today?
story.
How did
Oh
you
my
find
God.
yourself? What were the
Oh, wow.
defining moments? Like,
Okay,
tell
do I
us.
start from like
Sure.
the beginning?
Yeah, where did you come
Okay,
from,
so
and
I
what
was
affected you?
born-
We don't
but
want to
that's the-
know like your
Right,
dry
right.
cleaning
Okay,
bill,
cool. Okay.
but like
I got a long.
Yeah.
Put this down. So
I might interrupt
born-
you if it gets too boring. I'm just
Oh, yeah.
kidding. No, go ahead.
So I was born and raised in Armenia, and you know, we didn't have a lot of money when I was growing up. My dad wasn't around. He was a bad boy, and he spent a lot of years in prison. And so I technically grew up with my mom, my aunt, and my cousins. That was my family. We all lived together because apparently at that time my aunt's husband was in prison too. So it was just 2 sisters taking care of the kids.
Wow.
So this is my.
You can't just
this
gloss
is
over
my-
that, you know.
Yeah.
Like rewind a little bit. No, that's interesting already. I don't know. I don't have that many. I have a few friends whose parents were in prison. Good friends. But it's always like curious.
That's
Is it something you could talk about? Is it
no,
something
absolutely.
interesting?
I mean, yeah.
So you come from like a colorful background.
A
meaning
lot
it's not
of.
like a conservative like.
I mean,
you know,
it is
cookie-cutter
conservative in a
background.
way, which I'll talk about too. Because my family was not a standard family in that conservative culture.
Right.
So I was already growing up seeing something outside the standards. You know, basically grew up with a mom and an aunt and cousins, and I don't know what a male presence in the house is.
Right.
You know, the whole house is
You had
run
like an
by women.
alternative family before it was like in.
Right.
Because now that's like,
That's normal.
yeah,
But back then,
it's like
when,
weird if you have a mom and dad that
yeah,
are the original mom and dads.
when you're growing up, you know,
yeah.
back home, especially when I was a little kid, you know, you usually see mom and dad and
I know.
kids, and you know,
I'm from Ukraine.
yeah,
by the
similar
way.
cultures, and you know, diverse
Yeah.
women were still kind of looked down
Yeah.
upon.
Sure.
But so long story a bit shorter. Then my dad gets released when I was about 10. Then we were, you know, I was super excited. I waited for years and years and years because, you know, my dad gave me beautiful promises and dreams, which I am creating for myself today. So I'm grateful for my dad for planting all these ideas in my head.
And for crushing them so that you can replant them on your own.
Right. And then
after picking up the pieces of crushed seed. No, I'm just kidding. But that's,
I mean, in a way,
you can't wait for other people. Like we
way.
were saying before, you can't wait
No.
for other people to do it for you anyway.
No, nobody
So
can do
no matter how
anything
much
for
your
you.
parents love you, they still can't do it for you. You know, he made you tougher, maybe. Like,
Oh yeah,
use it as strength, right?
100%.
He did the best he could, I'm sure. But tell us more. So what
So
happened?
then he gets released, and
Yeah.
we, you know, me and my mom, we move out and we start our own little family, and then I didn't know much about my dad's past when I was little, obviously. But then, you know, at this time, I'm 10, 11. I'm starting to notice a lot of weird, you know, tension in the family. And then shortly after his release, I started realizing that he's using drugs and he's really not in control with alcohol. Then a lot of abuse starts happening in my home in a way that I was scared to leave the house because he was very aggressive towards my mom. Whatever, I don't want to get into details,
that's
but
okay.
so basically a lot of that.
What was he
that
in jail for the first time?
I'm not going to get into
Okay, all right,
details.
all right, all right.
Not that it matters.
Oh, for
but,
just-
yeah,
Yeah,
not
no,
that it matters.
you don't have to. I'm just curious.
Right.
I'm only
But
asking
then
what I'm
nothing
curious
too
about.
crazy. Definitely did not kill anyone.
Yeah, well, he got out.
Yeah, did not kill
all
anyone.
right.
So
So then
then
it wasn't working out. So
it wasn't
then-
working out. But then again, the law does not really protect women that well.
I understand.
You know, it's,
Oh,
a
I
lot
know.
of things are messed
I
up.
understand.
Then the only way out was to just have my mom leave the country because he wouldn't leave her alone. You know, he loved her,
Right.
but at the same time, he didn't have control over
Right.
himself.
I
You know, he
understand.
would, use substances, lose his own control, and just would turn into a whole different person. So I spent 9 months living in that situation, and then he gets arrested again for, I don't even know for what reason. And we use this time to work on moving here. And then my mom moved first in 2015. 2015. I mean 2005. And then, she got here. Thank God she got a green card. And then for 2.5 years, I stayed back home with her sister. And I joined my mom in 2008.
How did your dad handle it when she left? Like, were you guys?
He kind of already knew, and he was
Yeah.
in prison when I moved here
I see.
too. He kind of already knew when, I went to say bye with the promise that I'll, definitely, I'm going to come back. I'm going to
Yeah.
see you. That's how it was. But definitely, I'm skipping a lot. But,
Yeah, I
a
understand.
lot of craziness
Yeah.
happened around those years.
None of which
that-
defines you. I'm
No,
just saying,
absolutely
like,
not.
it just
Absolutely
I just
not.
think like it's interesting because I know so many people that have been through unimaginable, like way more unimaginable than anything you're telling me. Because this is like common, meaning coming from like Ukraine, the way women, it's not accepted to be divorced, and if you are,
Yes,
it's like
a lot of.
I got divorced too, so I saw it just on my own. But I'm not a woman; it's even worse, and I understand that, right?
Yeah, and then
But-
again, divorce was not the biggest
Right.
issue. The aggression coming from him
Right,
was the
the
scariest
abuse
part.
and lack of protection
Right.
you get because
Right.
it's
was
like
just
the husband's right.
crucial. It was crucial. Something had to be done about it.
Of course,
It was really that bad.
And in those cultures, the husband has the right,
Right.
and they're not going to protect
Right.
the woman, so you got to take it into your own hands. But I guess the main point is that I know so many people that have like these pasts that nobody would ever know because they're just like badasses, right?
Right.
So that's why I like hearing it. I'm not. I don't want you to like have to
Right.
go back.
Right.
If
I
you
mean,
don't
I
need
totally
to,
can, but it's just
Yeah,
such
no,
a
you don't have to.
long story.
I appreciate
really
I
take my
get
sweet
the
time
gist.
for connecting the dots.
but yeah, I get the gist.
I'm just really telling the main.
So how
the
old were you when
highlights.
you came?
So
here
I was
then?
16 when I moved here.
Wow. See, I thought you
2008.
came younger because you
No,
don't.
16.
You speak English really very well,
I
obviously.
tried.
I mean, not that
I
you
tried.
can't. Yeah. I mean, I know
Um,
how it is. I came when I was 4. My brother was 13, and we have a lot of like relatives that came at different times. You kind of get the best of both languages, though.
yeah, I want to say probably like I speak both languages equally now. I want to say
Yeah.
yeah. Then what happened when I moved here was I was still very much part of my culture when I moved here, and we are a conservative culture. A lot of limited thinking, a lot of male and female differences, a lot of things you shouldn't do or you should do as an Armenian woman. Blah 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 blah. Have
Did
to
I
get
mention my
married at a.
first wife is Armenian?
You never did.
So my first 3 kids are half
Oh my God,
Armenian.
what?
So I'm like,
What?
yeah, Persian
That's
Armenian, but like
that's
I
that's
know,
that's
yeah,
crazy.
and I'm born Jewish.
What a
So
combination. What a
they're
combination.
Christian and very proud and awesome family. Though I got super lucky because they weren't as typical. Like they accepted me, even though when I asked her mom for her daughter's hand because her dad had passed away already, she tried to convert me to like Christianity.
Oh man. Oh man.
She goes, "Hey, would you like?" And
Ah.
I said, I wouldn't, but you're more than welcome to convert to Judaism, even though I'm not even religious, so I don't really care. I just don't want to convert to anything, right, Canoli? But yeah, so I know the Armenian culture and
Right.
how it's very traditional in a lot of
Very
ways. Like you don't
traditional
bring a
and
guy
great
over
too,
unless you're
right.
like
I
gonna
mean-
marry them, and so the judgment, like you also get ostracized if you get divorced, and like that wasn't.
No,
yeah.
it's
So
it's a lot.
I know
Again,
how
like we
hard it could
earlier
be.
when we talked about, certain beliefs from cultures, certain things you can do, you cannot do, some extreme
Right.
things, but we don't really necessarily have like extreme beliefs and limitations in
Yeah,
our culture.
right.
But it was still very limiting for me to be able to get where I got. I was when I first moved, I was still like in that mindset because I was rooted in, I was raised in that reality,
Right.
raised in that reality. So when I moved here, I was starting to readjust and, start to recognize other beliefs, other systems, other ways of thinking and being and living and, all these perspectives. Obviously, I was going to school with a lot of people from all over the world, all these international students. And I was starting to really change, but I was very much surrounded by my people, and their beliefs were not starting to not match with my vision and my way of wanting to live. And at that time, I had a boyfriend when I was, studying.
So what
for
age
graphics.
is this that you
This is
started?
from 18 to like 22.
This is when you started thinking like, man, is
This
this
is-
really
this
like
was
you started questioning
during
things.
during this time.
Yeah,
while
because
I'm,
you moved here, you were 16,
16.
and now you're like,
And then I'm
kinda-
like 19, 20.
Yeah.
I'm at school. I'm starting to, understand things and learn things.
Yeah.
I'm also at school. And I also have a boyfriend who's a great guy, amazing guy. He's
Armenian.
always been good to me,
Yeah.
but a very typical, traditional Armenian-minded
and
guy.
expected you to be a traditional,
Right,
eventually
and
a
I
traditional
was.
wife that cooked and cleaned and right. I mean, that's
Right.
what's
And
expected.
I was, and I still am. The fact that I'm doing me and I'm working hard on myself and I'm chasing my goals and I have all these big dreams
Don't
and I'm
mean you
not
can't
afraid
cook.
of them,
Is that what
it
you
doesn't
said?
mean that I let go of my traditions, but I'm
Right.
only keeping the traditions. They actually have true value
Right.
other than insecure ways of limiting yourself so you can satisfy someone
Right.
else.
Like, where are you going? Who are
Right.
you talking to?
Right. Right.
Yeah, I
so
understand.
a lot of those things
I know,
happen.
'cause the men are
And again, I don't
domineering.
want to talk shit.
The men are domineering. I'll say it, and I know it. I have a lot of Armenian friends, and they love me, and we all get along. And I also came from that. Like I'm the guy, so, and I behaved that way in my 20s. I'm just saying, I learned through my divorce, and even after my divorce, going, God, I'm still arguing with her, and that's when I started learning emotional intelligence. So I also understand those Armenian men.
Right, and
If
I
you're
respect that.
raised-
Look, I respect
If you're
that,
raised
'cause-
to go, hey, this is the guy's role, this is the girl's role. It's all you see. It makes sense because that's what your mom and dad did. That's what your aunt and
right,
uncle
and I
did.
know the intention is good.
And sometimes it works,
The intention is good. I'm not
Right.
saying that they mean
but it
to,
doesn't mean you have to do it.
right, but what they don't understand is that by doing that, they are limiting themselves Because when they put all these regulations on women, women do put regulations right back on them without them even realizing that. You get what you give. And this is
I
very
was
subtle.
like,
This is very subtle to see and notice. If you tell this to any, men from, Caucasia or, Middle East, they're not gonna
I know,
agree with you. But it's
right?
for me now, it's very clear to see and, see the difference.
Well, I
But
like when I was married the first, because I can relate to that way of thinking since I lived it, and then I had my transformation because it didn't work for me. I wasn't my happiest. The relationship didn't work. I wasn't good at communicating. I would do
right, it
silent
affects
treat.
you. First
It
things
affected
first, it
me.
affects you.
Yes, I was
You are
not
doing it to
happy.
yourself.
Dude, I've told this story, so I don't want to, but like, I would give her the silent treatment all the time. Like I did the typical shit that
Right.
my dad taught me.
Right.
Sorry, Dad, but it's true. And it doesn't have to be that way.
It doesn't
It's
have to
better
be
just
that way.
communicate
It's
openly
harder
and
for
explain, hey, you
you.
hurt my feelings, or when you did that, just talk about it, right?
Right.
It took me a long time to understand that, but so I understand, how they think, but it is limiting because I would limit her. I would say, why do you need to go out with your friends? Why you got to do girls' night out in the beginning? Not because I was even, but I would treat, that's just what I thought I should do.
Right. That's what
But
we
then
think
I
is
also
right.
didn't have freedom to do what I wanted to do. So my mindset now is totally different. And I can see, I
I mean,
personally,
I come from there too. I
yeah,
can relate.
I am much more fulfilled because now the relationship is, hey, we're partnering, we're like co-piloting, but like, hey, do your thing. You want to be a photographer? Go. I
Right.
support. Hey, if I want to go be with my friends, I go be with my friends. We have a
Right,
balance.
right.
It's like a
Because
supportive,
why not?
open kind of communication. Hey, this is bothering me. And we're not perfect, but we're always talking about, hey, how do we communicate better then? We're always trying.
Which is a lot more
That's the key.
hard than
It's harder,
when
but it's
then
worth it.
yelling at each other like little
Right.
kids. That's so easy.
Because you know
That's
why?
so easy. People always ask me, why are you not in a relationship? I'm like, I can have 15 relationships right now. Those easy ones. But that's
Right.
not what I want. I don't need a baby to.
Right. That's how I felt. Like I was like, I don't need a relationship. So if it's going to be the same,
Exactly.
I'd rather be on my own. It's just that I was able to find something that wasn't the same, that was willing to evolve with me and learn. And it's totally different. And it's worth the work if that's what you want. I wasn't happy with the way things turned out. So I decided, okay, what can I do to make it better?
It's a
So
choice.
and that's why like when I met you, I was like, you're such a creative person. I thought you must get a lot of backlash, right? Like how did you break like free from that? What was the process?
The process
Because
was
I know there's a lot of people like
definitely-
us that could go 40 years like I did before they started believing they could break free from what's expected.
Mine happened a lot earlier. I was
Yeah.
probably 23, 24.
How old are you now, if you don't mind?
I am 29 now.
Okay.
Very recently.
All right.
It started really happening naturally. Ever since I was a kid, a lot of things, the beliefs and regulations and limitations I was growing up with, I wouldn't agree with, but I had no choice but to accept it. But then once I got more mature, I realized like I'm my own person. I started really taking responsibility and be the way I want to be. And thank God I developed a very, very, very close and good, respectful and friendly relationship with my mom. So she always, ever since she kind of got an idea that I'm a decent person. I'm not going to do anything stupid. She gave me the freedom to really do what I think I should do, to create whatever I want to create, whether it's a job, relationship, friendships, whatever that is. And once I got that trust from my parent and that, support and freedom, I started, just doing things that I wanted to do that my relationship was stopping me to do. And then came across a friend who gave me one book, and that was Osho's book. I read that one book, and all my questions, all these struggles, and all these fights I was having with how things should be, really, all that conflict disappeared. Because I was like, oh, so I guess it shouldn't be that way.
There is no should.
There is no should.
Nothing should
you
be
do
any.
what you do. It's so
Exactly.
simple. people are going to judge you. People are going to say, oh, you changed. By the way, about changing, out of subject, one time I told a friend of mine who's, we've known each other for over 10 years, and we don't hang out much because, I have a very busy life now. I told her, look, I changed so much 5 years ago. I was not this person. She said, oh, it's okay, babe. I was like, I wasn't complaining.
Right.
I wasn't saying that's a bad thing. Why are you sorry for me? You should be happy for me. That's when I realized, so many people think
they're judging.
That changing is a bad thing.
Right. What happened to you?
Why would
They're
you
not thinking
change?
about it as evolving. They're thinking change is
they
bad.
see change as a negative thing. They think if you change, you're gonna not love them anymore.
It's
if you
scary.
change, you're gonna just
Right.
There are a lot of negative ideas about change, and
Look, old school families use guilt and like made up things like pride and honor. These are made up things. Humans made that concept up. Animals didn't make that up. There's no such thing in the animal world.
No.
Right? They made all that up to control people to not leave. Like, hey, a good son wouldn't do X and Y. Like, really?
Right.
Like, there's no, you do what people do what comes naturally, instinctively. If your family treats you well, you naturally, instinctively stick around.
I feel like that's the reason why all those conversations are still happening. That you're bad, you're good, this and that, all these complaints. I think because people have certain expectations.
Sure.
And those expectations are not always satisfied because what you want might not always be what the person in front of you wants. And it's okay.
Right.
It's this expectation that that's Lena.
Cannoli's on the phone. We got a new person.
Guest.
Hi, nice to meet you. So, what's your name again?
Elena.
Elena?
Elena.
Elena. Cannoli, relax. Shh. Come here, Cannoli. Shh. Come here, buddy. It's a good boy, I know. He's just greeting all the guests. He might bark for a minute, and then he'll probably stop. Probably. This is gonna be the cannoli episode.
He's got such
The Ani and cannoli.
Cannoli and
It's a
Ani
powerful
podcast.
bark. It's
a very
it's
powerful
unavoidable.
bark.
It's
Yeah.
hard to ignore.
And there's a lot of eye contact. There's a
Right.
lot of eye contact.
A lot
too.
of strong eye contact. But he's really scared and insecure.
Yeah, I've noticed.
That's why he barks.
Exactly. The guys that bark the loudest are the most scared.
That is
They're
very
insecure.
true.
I know from experience. I got into a lot of fights, and I'll tell you right now, I was scared every single time. As crazy as I might have looked, it was just to protect myself. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure. Can only shh. I know. Shh. I think he's frustrated he can't get to you.
So much.
Elena. Yeah. Exactly. It's such good timing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I didn't
right
realize
on time.
I didn't realize that you were Ani's friend. I thought like maybe you came for someone else, but we still were like, no, it's okay. We're gonna say hello and just make it part of the podcast, not knowing you actually are part of the podcast, right?
She is definitely.
I feel like pretty
definitely added
soon-
to the story.
I feel like pretty soon we should add her to the conversation.
We are.
Yeah.
She's ready. She came ready.
So what are like I guess when cannoli stops barking, if anybody's
buddy.
even listening at this
Okay,
point,
buddy.
this might be a failed experiment, and next time we'll have to put cannoli in his room. It's a lot of people. Show them all the people, Josh.
All right, there we
Buy
go.
me some time here. Slow pan. Oh, there's Dr. Chill. Look at that. Right? It's a good opportunity to reintroduce Austin. Austin, happy birthday. Cannoli, shout out to Austin Cannoli. There you go. Thank you, Cannoli. Right on cue. Good boy. Such a well-trained dog. He barks right on cue. Thank you. Yes. Rhythm. You're asking for trouble. Moving around like that. No sudden movement. You know what? Throw Cannoli a slice. He might have,
There you
I
go.
think he'll be okay.
There you go. You might
Dude, that'll do it, man.
make you
Dude,
forget about
K
it.
Bronx Pizza. You know, forget trainers. Just order a pizza from K Bronx. Our first unofficial sponsor. We should tag them and see, man. They deliver our pizza every Friday for the podcast.
Yeah, why not?
They already know us.
Why not?
Maybe we'll throw in a free slice once in a while.
Why not?
Who knows?
Perfect.
So
where
before
were
we jump in, yeah. Well, go ahead. Feel free to jump back in where you were, or I have a question for you that sort of relates.
Yeah, I guess we're
I have a question to
about
save
the
you
part
from-
of evolvement and
Yeah.
growing and
Yes.
changing, and a lot of that was a lot of hard work. I want to say it's a lot more. You have to be a lot more dedicated and determined for that than anything else, because it's nonstop. You have to basically watch every single step you make. You have to watch your words. You have to watch just everything. You have to be hyper aware of yourself, what you
In your career, you're
feel,
saying?
in personal growth.
Oh, in personal growth. Yes.
So I'm speaking about like awareness and changing and growing and expanding as a person. That has been the toughest challenge for me. And
Me
throughout
too.
the process, I don't want to say I lost people, but I got to a lot of distance got created between me and certain people because we weren't really on the same understanding and vibration anymore.
Yep.
A lot of fear you have to overcome because you also think, oh, what if I change and become a bigger or a different person the one that I want to become? What if I don't have people around me? What if people don't see and understand and accept me?
What if you can't make new friends?
Right.
It's the same fears we had as little kids. Like, what if I can't make new friends at the new
Right.
school?
Because you
Your
go, you
mom
start
says,
from
no,
zero
you'll be fine.
again.
But you got to trust in yourself.
Right.
You got something to offer and trust in the process, which kind of goes for anything new. Anything new, you have to trust in the process, and since it's
Which
new,
comes in
since
the-
it's
the-
new,
the-
you've
yeah,
never done it.
The concept of
So
faith.
you're kind of like
you
having
know? You have to
blind
have the
faith.
faith for yourself
Yes.
that you're going to push through, you're going to be fine.
Sure.
You want to change because you want to change, and there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that.
And pattern recognition. You don't
Oh,
realize
yeah. Oh,
how
yeah.
much shit you've already fucking overcame. We don't give ourselves credit. I'm serious. Like, this is a recent thing because I keep taking on too much shit and doing like wild business ventures that maybe I don't have business doing, like a podcast, right? But I always think like shit, I honestly lost my train of thought there. I had such a great point to make.
Come on.
I hate when that happens.
Come on.
Big business ventures.
Having
Having
the
faith. Oh, yes.
How
Thank
much
you.
we forget to give.
Yes,
give
I
ourselves
forget. I tell myself, dude, like I tell my business partner, and I know this sounds arrogant, but it's just between us that I'm telling him, but now I'm telling you, bro, we're fucking ninjas, man. We always land on our fucking
Look,
feet.
I
Why are we
keep
worried?
telling that to myself daily.
When did we not land on our feet? Let's trust that we've been good 10 times in a row. Let's roll the fucking dice. If it doesn't work, we'll find jobs. People are cool with us. We'll find.
Yes.
Bro, you're getting job offers now. He's like, yeah, you're right. I'm like, we're being unnecessarily fearful because it's normal. It's the fear factor
I
going.
posted a quote yesterday. It says, worrying is like praying for things you don't want.
Right.
So, it's also hard not to worry.
Yeah.
It's
It's
it takes
okay.
work.
Embrace it. I do.
Right.
Like I go, shit, is that something I need to worry about? And if it is, I'll go, okay, don't run in the freeway. Or I'll go, well, don't listen to don't go on the podcast. Because, and a lot of people listen to that stuff. Like, don't show up to the interview. People just don't show up. It's like
Wow.
an epidemic, actually, in today's generation, by the way. Not to
Wow.
like tangent, but true story. People
I'm
don't show up
not
to interviews,
surprised. I'm
man.
not
I hear it from all my friends that are hiring managers. They're like, half the people don't show up.
No way.
Like at a dentist office, I'm trying to hire an assistant. 50%, they don't show up. They don't call. They don't reschedule. They just go, oh, I'm just not going to show up. Because they're afraid.
Weird.
They're like, what am I doing? They're never going to hire me.
Oh,
I look like
man.
shit. I got a pimple. And they don't come in. And they
Do
bury
you
their
think
head
that's the
in
reason?
sand. Yes.
Do you think it's fear, or is just
Fear.
that they don't care?
I don't know. Fear, or they haven't found themselves, so they don't care. Yeah. Could be.
Interesting.
Like a lack of lack of emotional attachment. So they're like, fuck it. Because it's not really a job they want. That could be it. But I do think it's fear a lot because I've had the opportunity to like follow up in some cases or run into people. We have a talk and they're like, man, I'm sorry, man. I just didn't know what to say. And I was running late and I panicked and I just said, fuck it.
Oh, poor thing.
Like, why did you call? Right? So I think it's fear.
Oh,
it's
wow.
like people, there's a lot more fear, it feels like. Maybe because when, I'm just saying, not to be an old fogey, but when I was growing up, we ran the streets, Dr. Chill. Our parents let us out after breakfast and they told us come back before the sun went down.
Yeah, that's how I grew up too.
Yeah.
We literally grew up playing on the street.
So we were throwing dirt, clogs at each other, and occasionally it was a rock inside, and that's just what happened.
Yeah, that was
And
my
we
childhood
toughened
too.
up, kind of, so we're not as like, we're like, if you've been through that,
Right.
you can, it kind of toughens you up. There's this clinical psychologist, Rich Peters, really famous now, that talks about this, how the over coddling that's happening with kids, like they can't go out into the world and like fend for
Be those
themselves because they're not
friends.
used to like just handling business. Like, hey, go play. I don't care. I'm partying with my friends. My parents would take me with them, right? You know this.
I know that, yeah.
Every
It's
weekend,
very
like,
similar.
God, they have so many friends. Go play with the, but
Yeah,
he doesn't
go
like
outside.
me.
Go play outside.
Yeah, and he doesn't like
Literally,
me.
Street,
I don't
cars
care.
are passing by.
Yeah. Go play.
Yeah,
go figure it out.
play, yeah.
And you'd play till like you passed out.
We would play till like so late at night that our moms would come force us to go home at like 2 a.m. When it was
Right.
summertime, we didn't have school. We would force our families to let us, stay outside till late night so we could play
Right, because
outside.
they're partying at their friend's house, drinking,
Yeah.
and you would just hang out until you passed out on someone's couch or not. And I'm
Good
not saying
times.
that's the good parenting.
Good
I don't do that with my
times.
kids, right? But I'm saying
I
like,
mean, I enjoyed
I
a
enjoyed
lot,
that,
yeah.
and
Wow.
he might have enjoyed that too. And that's what could happen if you're not careful with that sort of upbringing. But we survived, and I think it gave us like more of a risk tolerance, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Probably.
It's a theory. But
I
what
mean,
were-
every experience kind of shapes something in you,
Right.
right? So I'm sure it
What were
plays a
your
role.
defining moments, would you say, in your like upbringing that like I guess like specifically I'm curious because like for people that have such a hard time like I did finding their passion, like what do they even want to do? Because if you don't know what you want to do,
I
you're
think
just
for
wandering,
me, it was
or
a
the
lot.
confidence, those two things. What happened to, because it's not that normal, because you know what it is, most people are good soldiers and maybe there's only 20% that can break out of that and like lead, and that's okay. I think that's normal. So how do those people that want to break, because not everyone needs to, some people are happy like following a great
Right.
movement,
Right.
and you need those soldiers like to be part of
Right.
Dr. Chill's movement, to be part of Rhythm's movement. But nobody here is like a soldier type, and there's no offense to those. It's the natural order of things. And people that have a vision or have something to lead a group, how do they get out of that? How do they become, because when you were 18 or 16 or some age, you probably didn't think it was possible to even be a
Absolutely.
person that's at 29.
Absolutely.
Imagine your 16-year-old self.
My
they would say,
16-year-old
"You're
self
lying."
had no idea. She'd be
She
like,
would say, "You're crazy."
crazy.
So how the hell did that happen? Like,
It's the hunger. It's the hunger.
where did that come from?
Uh,
Being poor, like not
probably
seeing-
by disappointments. I experienced a lot of disappointments when I was a kid. A lot of moments where I felt anger for things that were unfair. A lot of things I wanted I couldn't have. We didn't have a lot of money, I was almost always in situations where I was like, but why can't I, but why? And
Yeah.
knowing that I want that life, I was just never okay with the idea that, oh, it's fate, I'm just not lucky. I didn't believe in that. I always believe that if you really want something, you can really get it. And I think that's a concept and an idea that my aunt planted in me. And she would always talk about the power of mind and power of manifesting. She would teach me techniques when I was
Mm-hmm.
12, 13,
Interesting.
14. We would get this monthly magazine back home, which would, random things would be covered. And on the very last page, there was something supernatural covered on that one page. And it was always about, how water has memory, but words have power, all these things. That idea would fascinate me. But I didn't understand how real it was until recently.
Like when?
Probably like 3-4 years when things started to really happen for me. I realized I have this life because I actually really wanted to have
And you
this
kept
life.
pushing and showing up.
I kept pushing, and thank God my mom is also the type to not ever tell me you can't. She'll always says, yeah, if you sure try
Right.
whatever
That's
you
huge.
want. And I think also freedom had a lot to do with it too. If I was raised by a family where everybody taught me that you're small, you can't, you shouldn't, I wouldn't be like this. But I never had the control on me to believe a certain thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, English is my second language. I wouldn't be this way, but the fact that I had the freedom to become me. I don't know how I
The
got
mentality.
lucky with that,
You
but
got lucky. We all got lucky, honestly.
Yeah.
Whoever, because it's not really our doing. Like you were lucky to be born
Yeah.
with an intelligent enough brain,
Mhm.
and luckily the environment you were thrust into
Mhm.
made you cross paths with these ideas, like
But also,
like
I feel like,
Osho and those
oh
things.
yeah, those
Same
things
with
were
me. I
kind of
ran into
like,
a friend when I was like in my late 30s that was a life coach that learned under Tony Robbins, right? And
he's so
and
great.
so like I'm like, you make money life coaching? What the hell is that? And he started telling me the concepts, and I'm like, and I went to a seminar, and I'm like, blame it all on yourself. What? But what if she's a bitch, or what if he's an asshole? Like I thought to myself, what do you mean? It's not my fault that somebody's, da 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 da. And now I totally get it, but it took me like a long
No, it
time.
takes time. For me, I think the biggest
I'm just saying, it's
breakthrough,
okay if you don't get it, but it's worth
it
investigating.
100%.
If it's not working for you, whatever you're doing, just question it.
100%.
Read a book.
100%.
And if the book is wrong, go back to the way you were. If you're so sure of yourself, then you should be able to question it and go, nah, it's not gonna work. I'm gonna go back to
and it takes
this way.
experience. It takes trying. Again,
Yes.
for me, the biggest breakthrough was to let go of my anger. I had a lot of anger growing
Yes.
up by seeing a lot of things I wasn't
Blaming,
supposed to see
right.
at that young age. You
Yep.
know, I had a lot of anger in me.
But the things that the people that did that to you, that made you angry,
I'm
we're
forever grateful
done,
for them.
and we're done upon. Like somebody did that shit to them that also had some shit happen. Like at some point they got fucked up by whatever, the government or
100
something.
Yeah,
And
you
so
cannot
they're just
blame.
passing it. So
You cannot blame
again,
the people.
it's understandable to be angry, but on the other hand, like what else could have happened? Of course, it
Of course,
didn't.
that's
It
what
had
it
nothing to
is.
do with you. They insert any male or female into that role, and they're gonna probably have a lot of
Yeah,
anger
it's just
issues.
generational
Yes.
chain of
Right.
mindset, and not
Yes.
everyone gets the strength and the desire to break free from that. And again, one of the reasons why I changed my last name, I really think that I broke a chain in my family of a belief system.
Mm-hmm.
And my child, if I have one, is definitely going to be a whole different type of Armenian. You know, it's going to be
I like
she or
that.
he's going to be the new Armenian that Armenians deserve to have.
to be
To be.
to have the potential to
With
be.
the most, like,
You're not saying every
this is from a
Armenian-
very humble point, by
Yeah.
the way. I don't mean to say you know.
Can I say it like this, if you don't mind? Like,
Yeah.
I think you're kind of saying it's okay to be a traditional type of Armenian.
Absolutely.
Can we just have a couple of more? Like, can we have option B, C, D?
Right. Look, you
to
can
be
be
like,
as
hey, I want to be
traditional-
creative. Can I be a creative Armenian and still be a good person
Right.
and be a good family
Be
member
open,
and
be
loving?
a business owner,
I
be
still
a
love
powerful woman, and still be
You're
a
still
good
kind,
Armenian.
sympathetic, empathetic. You know, you pay your taxes, most of them probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's with every people,
Yeah.
with every culture, with every limited system, every controlling mindset. We all deserve to be free. Be traditional as you want,
Right.
if it's your choice.
Right.
If it's your choice, if that's what really makes you feel really good. But I see so many women are being that traditional persona that they are being told to be, but I can see they're miserable. This is not what they want to be.
Right.
This is not what they want to do, but they don't believe, and they don't have that power, that fire to be like, you know what, like, I'm done with
Right.
this. I want to do me now. I want to live the way I want to live.
Most of it
who
is
cares
belief.
what all these people say?
Most of it is belief, because this drives
Yeah.
everything your body does. Everything.
100%.
All the typing you do and sending comes from what you decide you believe, what's important, how you value yourself, your expectations. Like, you know what I mean? Okay, I got to tell this expectation story because I think it's so powerful, because it's really all about your expectations. I was telling Josh, like, there's a restaurant in Chicago, and it's probably one of many that the servers, they just talk trash to you. And it started that way, naturally became famous. So when you go there, when you go there, like, your friends are like, oh, dude, it's so cool. Like, just be ready. They're going to be like, so you go there and they talk trash. Your expectations are that they will, and you have a great time. Like, get the fuck, hurry up and take your order, you fat ass. Like, what's wrong with you? And they're just talking shit to everybody,
That's so
right?
fun. I want to go there.
And it's so much fun. I went there. And I just thought, if you go into that restaurant and you don't reset your expectations, you're going to have a horrible time. Like, what the how dare you speak? Shut the fuck up and move on. What? You know what? Cancel my order. And the same person into the same restaurant, same people with just different expectations.
That's like the same people that go to a comedy show and they get offended by the comedian. That's like the same thing,
Right. And it's all about you. If you go around having expectations of how people should treat you, or did you look at me a certain way? Or I used to do that because my dad taught me, hey, if somebody says this or they say that, you better stand up for yourself. Our cultures are very
similar, so I understand everything you're
saying. I had to unwind all that bullshit that got me in so many fights, hundreds of fights. For what? What an idiot. At some point, I realized what an idiot I was being, no offense, because to people that do fight, because I understand it. I really do. It's like I was so convinced I had to defend myself at all times, but I realized at some point, I am really a poor player in this game, because like anyone could come up to me and go, excuse me, fuck you. What? Oh, and I could be on a way to like the most important business deal and I'll fuck it all up because they decided to sabotage it and I have no control because I have to defend myself. He laid down the gauntlet. How dare you, sir? How dare you slap me with that glove? And like, I have to do a duel now and risk my life. Really? Do you? You decide. You're having a bad day. You slap me with your like glove. I should be like, dude,
get some rest.
I should be like, dude, you got issues, man. You should go home, or call the police and go, this guy's slapping me with his glove. I don't need to duel you and defend my honor. You got issues, brother. Before, I would have been a totally different story. So it's like,
and it's
all expectations, man. It's all how you take it, taking things personally. Like, it's all here, and what you think here determines everything you do.
Everything else outside.
Hugging or fighting, saying I'm sorry or fuck you, right? Mm-hmm. If you think you're supposed to be the man in the relationship and talk to a woman a certain way, it sucks because it doesn't necessarily have to be that way.
But it's easy. Those things are so easy to do because you don't have to.
It's a role, and now you got to question the role.
It's given to you. Questioning is the. I don't even know how to explain. Is the biggest favor you can do to yourself to question, but not to just question, but to make sure you get the answer.
Put it on the whiteboard.
Yes.
Hey, A plus B equals 2. Do a different and see which one works better for you, and then go, all right, this one works better. Let's go with that. That's it.
That's it.
But most
try
of us,
for yourself.
I never did that because I'm like, my dad was married for 35 years to my mom, and I thought that's how you do it. And then I was watching Married with Children. I don't know if you know that show, but I thought, well, that's how you do it. Like, you don't like each other. That's how you do it. It's totally wrong. It doesn't have to be. It could be that way.
If it works for you, if it makes
Sure.
you happy that way. But again, sometimes people think they're happy, but they're not.
No. It's something to investigate. It's worth questioning and then making your own decisions. But it's not for everybody to do. Honestly,
No.
I don't try to convince people anymore because it's like the old adage, like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Like it's true. Like
Very true.
when somebody really wants it, man, I'm so ready to help them.
I
but
remember when I first started reading and changing my mindset and seeing things differently. I would get so excited. I would tell all my friends. I would try to convince all my friends to look at things differently. And I found myself in this loop of just frustration because I would also put expectations on people, believing that they're going
Right.
to
What's
break
wrong
through.
with you?
Yeah, I
You're
would
getting mad
get
at them for not breaking.
Yes.
Why don't you break it through?
And then
I'm
was like,
summarizing it
just
for you.
Yeah. I was like,
Right?
let it go. I don't try anymore. I'm just me. And then people who see it, they'll approach and ask a question. If not, then
Because it's a journey. You can't just, it's not like, here, take this pill. You'll know what I mean. It's not like that. And when I went to that seminar, by the way, it was like a 4-day thing. And they were like, hey, I know you're going to do it anyway, but I'm telling you, to all of us, Cannoli, shh. Do not go home and talk to your like girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse,
they're going to convince you out of it. Yeah.
and try to convince them that you know better. It's not going to work because they need to go through the process. But I still kind of like did because, what was it? What'd you learn? And then you're like, da-da-da, you're talking different. I'm like, you just don't get it. Like,
Yeah, no,
it's
I
not
remember
like,
that.
it's your own journey. And even after the seminars, it's not like you change. That's the other thing. You come on a high and then a lot of people just crash because it's that high you get from, oh my God, it's a great perspective. But you haven't practiced it yet.
You have to put in the work.
They just told you what to do at the gym. And you're like, oh man, I'm like ripped now.
Right.
No, bro, you need to go for like 3-4 months to see anything. And that I didn't know that. And it's years. It's like you read a book and you go, that's it. No.
Yeah.
Now you got to go practice that or get.
For me, the first book that I read, I closed the book and I was like, shit. I was like, I don't know anything. I literally do not know anything. What is truth?
Right.
What is bad? What is good? What is wrong? What is this? I went to like
Me too.
void. There was nothing, no concept here, nothing here. I had to find out for myself.
Rebuild. Me too. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, which is the scariest part. You feel very lost and you feel like you're either losing your mind or something is off. Or you can't relate to people anymore. People around you that, you're.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then.
Well, let me tell you something about that, just to put it in perspective for anyone out there thinking they want to evolve or try to get somebody to evolve. It's like your house, your belief system is your house. And it's, even if it's on shaky ground, you're basically telling somebody you need to fucking knock that thing down and rebuild. Because you know what? The foundation is really unstable. What are you telling me that this house I've been living with in my whole life all of a sudden is wrong? So I'm not who I am.
It's an ego thing.
Yes.
Like your ego gets
They have
offended.
to
What do you
throw
mean?
out-
I don't know. What do
They
you
have
mean?
to throw out themselves and rebuild. What if they can't rebuild? What if they don't know how? What if this way was the right way and they just don't want to look? But really, and then that's why it takes long, because to do that means you got to like re-pour, wait for the concrete to set, and like it's really rebuilding and rethinking everything. I had to question everything. Like, damn, how should I be in a relationship? And then I read books. I went to therapy for myself.
Good for you.
Even though I was embarrassed to go as a man, and my dad, who probably still doesn't know that I went until because he watches these. Shockingly,
you took all the steps.
Yeah.
You did what was
he's gonna now
necessary.
know. He's probably gonna be like, "So you went to see like brain doctor? You crazy? Huh? You stupid? You don't know how to live? You want me to teach you how to walk? Left, right, left,
Oh
right?
my god.
Yeah? You don't know life? You don't know wake up, breathe, right?
Yeah.
That's how
That's
he
a
thinks.
typical.
So I had to be like,
reaction.
"Fuck! I failed my marriage. I'm a big failure, and I have to relearn all this." Like, that was a big fucking step for a dude.
And again, the biggest prize that you win by putting in the work is just really peace. You're at peace.
Much
You're not
more.
angry at anyone. You don't blame anyone. You don't depend from anyone. Nobody can shake you.
And
Yeah,
you
you
get
feel
more of what you want.
disappointments here and there, left and right, but you know how to brush it off, and you know how to make things happen for yourself, and you manifest a lot faster, because any negative energy, any negative thought, emotion, it drags you down, it slows you down, it blocks all your blessings, and it's so simple and hard to explain to people.
My final pitch for emotional intelligence is this, and I swear I mean it. I did it for fucking pure selfish reasons. I'm like, this shit is not working. I'm like arguing with my ex-wife still because she's pushing my buttons. But then I'm like, or is it my buttons that I'm allowing her to? It wasn't working. And I'm saying, do it because you're a selfish motherfucker. Do it because it's not working for you. Don't do it because to be a good person. There's no good and bad. There's just effective and ineffective. You want a good relationship? Like I have no offense, we just weren't a good match. Okay, let's just call it that. But I was also not the same person at all. Like
Yeah,
it was
you
lucky
can't say
for
the same
her,
thing.
my wife now, that I got married and divorced. Because if that hadn't happened, if I hadn't lived through that, I would have been the same
100%.
dick.
We would have already got a divorce.
And we have a
3
better
times.
relationship. It's not like I'm on a leash, by the way. I have more freedom because I'm like, you have freedom, I have freedom. I don't want that anymore. I don't want like, where are you going?
Oh man.
Let's live our lives. Be
That's a
you. You
lot.
want to be. She was traveling like 50% of the time around the world. I'm like, go, girl. You want to move for a while? Like, we're independent. She wants that too. She's like, if you think I'm going to be a stay-at-home, like, I don't fucking know. That doesn't. Yeah, that, and I'm just saying that. I'm not saying that doesn't work, but you have to have each your own shit. It's very important. Whatever that is. If it's running the house, that's fine, but you got to be passionate about that. Do what if you're not doing your passion, then you're asking for fucking trouble.
Exactly.
Because then you're like
marriage is gonna
miserable.
start sucking too. Yeah.
Yes. And I wasn't doing my passion, and she wasn't, and we both didn't understand it, honestly.
A lot of people have this concept about relationships that the other person is going to walk into your life and make you happy.
Yes, no.
That's not the case.
Hell no.
Nobody can make you
Nobody's
happy.
going to do shit for you, trust me.
They can amplify your life and make you
Right.
feel happy when you're sharing some things with this person, but you're on your own.
You are
you're
on your
born
own, man.
alone. You die alone.
Yep.
Take care of yourself.
Even if you have a great relationship, one of you is going to die first. I'm just saying, like, and
Right.
feelings change. And I'm not, look, I always am aware that it's a fragile thing. It makes us talk, right? It makes us go, hey, what's going on? Something's not right, And it's so much more fulfilling for both sides. It's just a lot of work.
It's a
You know
lot
what I
of
mean?
work.
It's not for the weak of heart.
Yeah.
But it comes with benefits, and you could be more yourself and more fulfilled, but you have to get rid of your insecurities,
First.
and that's
Yeah.
like that means you have to take a hard look at yourself. And honestly, a lot of the people I know will never do that,
Yeah.
and that's okay. I don't judge them. I still love them, but they're
Yeah. Not everybody is a fighter.
right,
And this is a fighter.
or they're convinced, and they're just they're not willing to take their fingers out of their ears when someone's like la 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 la, la I don't want to.
Right.
I already know.
Yeah.
Just forget it. That's why I don't talk to them.
Right.
I was doing that too. Like when somebody would say, you shouldn't get angry. Like, shut the fuck up. That's because you're a pussy or whatever. I would just rationalize it away. Because if you're smart, you could do that. You could come up with an argument for anything. Like a debate team, you switch sides all the time. You know that? The winner of the debate team is arguing both sides. So you can argue both sides. You really need to
100%.
stop and think which side makes the most sense for you, and go with that one. Be real with yourself.
Be real with yourself.
Are you really happy? If you're not happy, take a look.
100%.
Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Good stuff. We need to do a
conversation.
relationship podcast and help
Not that
men
I know
and
a
women
lot about that,
have
but I'll
better.
be happy to be part of it and learn from you guys and maybe throw in a couple perspectives. Why not?
Vice versa. I'm an open book. What do you want to know? I know guys really well. We shouldn't go into it on this podcast. It's gonna get
Yeah, it's gonna
very
get another,
controversial
right.
because I will say it like that. So, families beware. You know what I mean? I don't want my
Yeah.
wife getting messages tomorrow. Did you hear Rick's back? Sorry, honey. She knows that when whatever topics come up, I'm gonna have to say what I think, and it may not
I
always be
mean,
popular.
hey, we're not speaking badly.
No,
of
no,
other
I just
people.
wanna
We're
help
just
people.
sharing
Yeah.
our experiences with the people.
Exactly.
Who might
And I
learn
am
from it.
older, and I wish I had known things that I know now, right? That I can't know because you just got to live it. You got to go through it. So if somebody had told me, I'm sure if I had listened, if I had pulled the thing, because I don't know if I would have. That's why I'm like, fine. Like if somebody doesn't want to listen, I'm like, yeah, I mean, I get it. Sorry. It sucks for you.
Sucks for you.
Because I wouldn't have listened either. Like people
Yeah,
try to tell me,
yeah,
I'm just being honest,
Yeah.
you know?
Or you would think you knew. You'd be like, yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
you don't do anything about it. Like, yeah, I know. Nah, yeah.
Or that's just the way it is. People don't change. That's bullshit. People learn. You change by learning, by the way. What do you mean you don't
People
change? You're the same as when you were 1? No. Well, why did you change? Because you learned some shit. When you learn calculus, you change. When you learn marketing, you change. When you learn child psychology, you change.
Any information changes you.
Of course. You
Anything
don't
changes.
change. That's a cop-out for not learning.
Yeah.
Like,
That's an excuse.
shut the fuck up. No
That's
one
an
changes.
excuse. Yeah.
You know, and you're watching some shit on TV.
100%
I'm serious because
that's
I've
an
changed,
excuse.
but not because I sat there. I like read stuff and talked to people and said, "Fuck, maybe."
I mean, hey, it
know
works
it
the
all.
same way as your muscles. If you don't work out and you don't, keep putting in the work, you're not gonna
Right.
look the way you want to look.
Exactly.
And then you have to maintain that. So the work never really stops. You have to constantly work on yourself.
And do what you love so that the work is more like you're playing hard.
Oh yeah.
That's how I like
That
to
too.
look at it.
I see a lot of people are choosing paths and careers based on how much money they think they're gonna be making. I mean, it works for some, I guess. But
Some people love making money though. Some people love running
Yeah.
businesses and stock markets. Like that doesn't mean you should be a forex trader. Excuse me. Half the people in my DM.
I wish I could know a way how to awaken the passion in people. That's actually a passion of mine, to be able to awaken passion in people. I wonder how I
This
can
is
make
what
that
this
happen.
podcast is all about. Seriously. You have to find your direction and confidence. Those are the 2 variables to successfully play this game, in my opinion. From everything I've seen, you need to find your direction, which is passion. What's your passion? Are you a basketball player? Are you fashion? Are you whatever?
Yeah.
So that shit gets you excited enough to work as hard as it takes to make it.
That's
Because
the
it's
thing,
fucking hard.
Because
And
if
the
it's not a
second thing is
passion, you're not going to
confidence.
believe in that.
Right.
For some reason, you naturally believe in your passion.
Well, I don't. Well, here's the thing. I think it's passion, and then the other ingredient is confidence, and they're not always together because
You're right.
I know people that are passionate, but they think they're shit,
You're
and
right.
they never do it.
What do you think changes that in people?
Man,
The right
it's a long journey.
people?
Everything that we talk about, like it's all the shit you hear on TikTok. The people around you determine who you are, right? The closest 5
Right.
people is a reflection of who you are, whatever. Like there's something to be said for that. It's everything. You know, it's really you, but if you're surrounding yourself with negative people, and most people
Right,
are
it's
around
really
people
you.
that are negative all day long. Kids,
Can't do that.
shut up.
Oof.
Who's talking to you? Shut the fuck up.
That's so
Don't you know
heavy.
anything?
Oh my God.
What's wrong with you? Why'd you get a bad grade? Most kids are not getting A's. So that school's telling them they're stupid. The parents are saying, what the hell's wrong with you? I got you a tutor. No one's like, hey, what's your passion, man? Like, are you into makeup? Are you into,
Or
graphic
they're
design,
instantly telling
farming?
kids what
do
they
you
should do.
Right. What you should you
What
need to
you
be
should do.
you need to be a doctor. Because I don't want to be embarrassed that I'm the only parent without a doctor child.
Oh
And
my
you're the
God,
last
so
one.
true.
I can't
That
have kids
happens.
anymore.
That
Right?
happens. Yeah.
Dude,
I think
everybody-
also what personally for me, what really helped is that I never had the pressure of what I should be from my parent, and I had the freedom.
See?
So I think it's also important to educate the parents to give their kids the freedom
Yes,
to
of course.
find and explore with their passions.
Yes, but I don't want kids that I know relying on their parents, because if their parents aren't lucky enough to have opened their eyes, which I can't blame, right? Then the kids are like kind of subject to that. So I hope like any young person hearing this can be like, can understand that whatever their parents are saying is nothing personal. Like, take them out of the equation as much as you can. Like, if there's, I'm not saying like abandon them. I'm saying do what you make that relationship as good as you can, but it's nothing personal. And then all the negativity, it's coming from their own like
Their own
issues.
experiences and issues.
Because otherwise there's no reason to be negative. You could just be like, hey man, like, what are we going to do to get you out of this? What do you like? It doesn't have to be negative. The negativity is because they don't know any better. So
Yeah,
that's not going to help
simple
you
as
though.
that.
It's not going to help you. So you gotta fend for yourself. Listen to Gary Vee. Listen to positive people that have made it. That's why I like talking to people that are just doing what they love and making enough money to live. It doesn't have to be the fucking, you don't have to, everyone's going to be a billion. No, they're not. Not everyone's going to be a billionaire. Not everyone needs to be or wants to be or
Right.
should want to be.
Right.
Be what you, just if you're spending more than half your waking hours working anyway, that's the sad truth. Sorry, kids. You're going to be working more than you're schooling. Trust me. So if you're doing something you enjoy and getting paid enough to like have a decent life, and then if you want money, you could always turn that shit into something bigger. You know, partner with people, scale it. So it's all about that. That's why I like passion, man. Like helping people find their passion. That's why I want to know what helped define you to make you this badass person we see before us today.
Definitely a lot more than just one thing. The freedom that I had, my ability to use the fire of negative emotions and disappointments into fuel for me to push harder to get what I want to get. I think that's something, I don't know if I can teach that to people. Hopefully I can, but it's the combination of both, you know, just the hunger. I don't know if that's something to learn or if that's something given to you. But one thing I do know, that if you really put your mind into anything, you put in the hours, you make sure you look at it in a way that your whole life depends on it, you're gonna make it. Anything you want. There's no such thing as faith. I mean, not faith. I'm sorry. As luck. You create your luck. Your mindset creates your luck. Your words, your intentions. You create your own reality in a way, but you just have to have the strength to do it all by yourself.
Right. I think there is I really do, maybe I'm wrong, but I think not everyone's destined to find it, unfortunately, because the game is so fucked up.
Right.
It's a hard game. So many people are born into nothingness and don't have the means to get out of it, and then they die. And that's the reality. And I'm only saying it to like not judge that you have
Right.
to.
No, of course
do
not. And
anything
then
with
those
it.
people are serving their own purpose
Yeah.
on this planet too. Not everybody needs to make it. But
Right.
if you are the type of person that want to make it, and you see all these grades and you think that
Right.
you're not as great as the greats are, then you're wrong, because you
Right.
are equally great. Everyone is
Exactly.
equally great.
This message is for whoever happens to hear this and maybe just needs a little guidance. It's not for everybody. It's not like you can force people to like go find their passion.
No.
But I do
I
think
can help, but I cannot
Yeah,
force.
but I do
can
think
give
every
tools.
person has it in them, even the ones that don't make it. And that's the hope I think everyone should have, is like, you see I know people that have come from the depths of nothingness. It's just harder to, but you can. So to your
You still
point,
can, right?
I do think there's luck involved in terms of like where you land in the game. Because the game, everyone
absolutely.
lands in this game with a different amount of like
Absolutely.
resources, family you might get fucked or you might get a good family. Like it's not, you're not choosing it. You just land. Like somebody
I'm
has
probably
sex
mostly
and then here
speaking
you are.
about the people
But
who
then you
have the
create it. Yeah,
opportunities to.
then you
know.
create it after that. After that, it's all up to you to play this game with whatever tools were given to you to the fullest. That's what you're talking. And I agree with that 100% because once I realized, it's like I'm quoting Steve Jobs. There's this lost interview, which obviously isn't that lost since I saw it, but that he was interviewed and they said, how did you get to the point where you started thinking that you can do all these things? And he goes, well, I remember clearly when I was like around 15 years old, paraphrasing, around 15 years old, and I realized you can push and pull this world, this universe, however you fucking want. And once I realized that, I knew like I can do whatever I put my mind to. It's just a matter of just persevering and don't let anything stop you. There's
I think
always a solution.
imagination plays a big role
Yeah.
too. You have to imagine
Imagination.
too, because again, by imagining things, creating scenarios in your head and daydreaming about those things, you put in a lot of energy and intention in that area, and that helps you manifest it faster if you're imagining, envisioning, and taking the steps that you can take at that moment. You'll definitely get closer to
Absolutely.
your dreams.
Nothing happens, nothing without the goal first. You don't go get milk at the store without the goal of, I think I want to get, you have to first think of it. And most people don't even stop to think. They don't go like, well, what do I really want? They're just kind of living their, like they get thrown into kindergarten, school, okay, and they just kind of like, what do I do next?
Right.
What am I supposed to do? They don't really stop and like think, what do I like? And back to that question of whether it's in people or not, I really do think it is. It's just some people have so many issues that wasn't their fault.
Right.
It doesn't allow them to follow their passion sometimes. But I think it's in everyone. And it's just a matter of being exposed to it in the right way. Like not everyone, what if I was like obsessed about certain type of like boats, but I live in the desert and I never get exposed to boats. I'll never know. I'll never know that that's my passion. But that could be a very like deep,
unless you maybe see a
specific passion.
picture one day
Right.
and then you're like, whoa, this is where I want to go, and then you get
Right.
obsessed. I remember my obsession with the idea of moving in the United States. I was 6 years old. I saw a videotape of this beautiful like kids park, and I saw a carousel. And back then when I was growing up, closer to Soviet years, we didn't have many
Yeah.
cool attractions in the
Yeah.
city. And when I saw that videotape, I saw those colorful horses with these lights and the fancy kids playing on it. I was maybe 6 or 7. I became obsessed with the idea of sitting on a carousel like that. And I asked my mom, where is this? She said, this is America. I was like, I want to go to America.
Absolutely.
And
It does exactly. It could be a YouTube video. It could be a picture.
anything that triggers something in you, you can.
Exactly. Josh could take a picture, which has happened to him, that can change somebody's life forever because they got an image. Like you said, first you need the idea. First you have to have a vision. It might be seeing Michael Jordan and you go, oh my God, I want to be that. And that's enough. But some people never find it, or they never get an opportunity to like try it or like work with an artist, or and so it's about getting out there and just like trying different things, whatever is attracting you.
That's unfortunate, but I guess this whole life is about living moments, and
Absolutely.
that's
Taking
their
advantage
path,
of
that's their journey,
opportunities. I like to look at it like it's a game a little bit, like could be like it's a simulation, maybe, and like try to play it like that, like
Right.
really make the most of this. This could be a simulation you paid for, like make the most of it.
100%. Once you
you know?
realize that, you can kind of like manipulate the
Yeah.
simulation. That's
Like,
that's
go
the
for
power
it.
you get with the powerful mind. You
Yeah.
manipulate your life in ways that you don't even know how
Yeah.
those things are happening. Magic.
Like if this was a simulation, aren't you gonna be pissed that you didn't like go for it? Like shit.
I will be really pissed, and
Yeah.
I make sure I take all my chances in life. That's how I choose to live, and it again might be too intense for most people, but I take all my chances. whether it's a party invite, I always think of it in a way, yeah, I'm tired, I don't feel like going. But then the other part of my brain goes like, you never know who you're gonna meet. Go.
You
This
went
is
to the
how I
park.
live, right?
You went to the park.
I went to a party,
You
I
went to
met
the
Jason. I
right.
met the whole.
Just showing up. And all you gotta do is show up and be yourself. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
This is a secret I've learned. Like, you really just have to show up. Like, show up to work. Like, you'll figure it out. Like, they'll teach you. And if they're assholes about it, go find another job.
Right.
Like,
Right.
just show up. And if they're mean to you, it doesn't fit, check it off your, okay, that's not a good option. Go to the next one. Go find it.
And
showing up and
oftentimes
showing up
when you show up,
led
you
you here.
realize it's not even as hard as you thought it
Right.
was. I remember I got hired by Disney to do graphic design. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm going to work at Disney Channel. Am I even good enough? At that time, I was maybe like, 3 years out of school? It's like, dude, I don't know if I qualify for this. It just happened for me. I go to work first day. It was just so simple. It was so simple. I started kind of getting bored in a couple months. I was
Right.
like, oh, okay. I've done this before many times.
See, and you would have never known if you had let yourself, get intimidated by the
Right.
fear. So
Yeah,
important.
fear
And that's why,
is-
like, I'm just saying, a lot of people aren't going to be able to, it's going to be hard for them to find that. But, like, knowing that, you were also not sure what you were doing and you were just kind of
I
figuring
mean, hey,
it
there are
out.
days right now I have no idea what I'm
Yeah.
doing. I'm like,
Just show up, keep going, right? Like Dory said, just keep
yeah,
swimming.
yeah.
It's like the best advice ever.
Right.
Just keep going, keep showing up, see who you meet. Opportunities are everywhere, man. I just wasn't as open to them before, but the opportunity is there. If you don't believe in yourself, you don't go to the party because you go, what's the point? I'm just gonna suck. Right? But if you go, hey, I have something maybe to offer, let's see what happens. And then you go, and
Absolutely.
a lot of times it ends up way better than
Absolutely.
you thought.
100%.
Yeah. And it's funny, then you went to that event and then
Went to the event, met Jason.
Yeah.
Then I came to the park event, met all of you guys.
yeah, and then you agreed to come on a podcast, which I'm telling you, I invite people and they say yes and then they just never follow up or they never show or they say no. Most people
I
won't
show
do it.
up. I
See?
show up.
So that the showing up is 80%, man. The rest is just doing the details, right?
You just never know. Have you guys watched the film The Yes Man by Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
Literally,
said
when I
yes to
watched that
everything?
movie, I had a phase to say yes to everything,
Mm-hmm.
and I gained a lot. I gained a lot of people, a lot of connections, a lot of opportunities.
That's
Obviously,
a
you
dangerous
shouldn't
thing
say
to
yes
let people
to
know.
every stupid thing.
It's
You got to
it's
be cautious also. But
It's a
I would
dangerous
just-
thing to broadcast to
Yeah.
all the people out there.
No, I'm not.
Hey,
I'm not
can
saying.
I borrow 50,000?
I'm not saying do that, but I was mainly saying yes to to a lot of invites.
Yes.
And,
Opportunities.
get-togethers and opportunities and projects.
Right.
Not necessarily, hey, let's go I
Right.
don't know, do cocaine and pass out by the
Right.
beach. No, that's not the type of stuff I would say yes
Exactly.
to.
It's important to specify.
Right.
Like people
No,
don't,
the
you don't have to
safe-
say yes to everything.
Safe things.
Yeah.
I'm not saying stupid
Say
things.
and it's the things
Safe.
you really want.
Mhm.
You want, but you're kind of like, like, should I? You're doubting yourself. Is it really worth it? But you kind of want to. Those are the ones you just kind of go, screw it. Man.
Hey,
Let's just
sometimes even
show up.
there have been days where I forced myself to go. Really didn't feel like it.
Right.
Ended up being an amazing day, met amazing people, or had an amazing experience. You just,
Exactly. I've done podcasts where I was like, maybe didn't feel it anymore, or thought, I don't look good today, whatever the hell was in my head that day. And you still just do it. And then it's like, oh my God, that was amazing. It was perfect. If you just, and embrace it. It's like, God, I'm off today. And then talk about that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So just make it
Exactly.
part of the game, the simulation. Take it all in. So what are you guys doing together? Like what kind of projects or
Oh my
you're
God.
both
we're-
badass Armenian
we
women? Is
both
that the deal here? What's the
know each other
Armenian
from
duo?
a very Armenian, not a very Armenian, but very cool Armenian group of friends. That's how we met. And then the way we saw each other recently was that me and Jason posted some pictures together. Then they connected through my Instagram, her and Jason. And then one day randomly, I connect with Jason's live video on Instagram. So we both are doing a live, and I
Right.
see Lena sitting there. I was like, huh? What? So I ended up going and joining them, and then that's when we had a very good conversation for
Yeah.
2-3 hours, and me and Lena are starting to connect too. We've had a lot of mutual friends, but both of us didn't really have a lot of connection. But it's, right now we're building it.
Got it. So nothing. You guys aren't working on projects yet.
Mm-mm. We just
Thinking.
have mutual friends,
But
and
yeah.
we experience some fun times together.
Right.
Now we're connecting on a deeper level because
Awesome.
she's going through her own,
Interesting. Do you want to be on the show? Do you want to talk? You don't have
I
to.
just want to say.
Yeah. Let's give her I mean, what do you
After
do,
that
by the
day-
way? What do you do?
I'm nurse.
You're a nurse. Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you? Yeah.
After
Tell us.
that day, I met Ani.
Yeah.
I saw Armenian crazy, free, like girl, and I was very like shy. I was thinking I'm not enough. I was trying to please everybody, like. When I saw her, I'm like, damn, she's so cool and free at the same time, very kind. She wasn't like just doing like wrong things and stuff, but I liked her like style, way, how she was like treating other people. She was hugging them. She was talking to like strangers, like, hi, smile, like she was all over, like our like friends. And
good time.
I love it.
and that day
This
was
is
for
so
me,
awesome.
to be honest, first I couldn't enjoy as like party.
Yeah.
I went into myself.
Sure.
I'm like, how cool is it? Like
Yeah.
to be free, to be yourself, and just don't care who's gonna think like whatever.
Holy shit balls.
Yeah, in
This
that
is so fucking
after
good.
that day I
Honey.
start being like more, I'm like who I am, what I want. Do I really want to be, yeah. And she didn't know about it.
I had no idea until recently.
This is so amazing.
Yeah.
So
So-
amazing. And I just really, just real quick, believe like, shout out to Jeremy, Wildman Jeremy, that used to go to Paoli's every day. And he wasn't the greatest singer. He died very young, but that's not the point. He wasn't the greatest singer, but he danced like he didn't give a fuck. And I would tell him, man, he wanted to be an actor and he wasn't, he was struggling. And I'm like, dude, everybody that sees you wants that because they can't find themselves, man. And when they see you, he would dance like this. And like when everyone came to his funeral at the Paoli's karaoke, it was crazy packed and he wasn't even like the greatest. So it wasn't like the singing, it was his freedom, the energy, be yourself, connect, even for a moment.
Exactly.
It's so cool how you
Yeah.
inspired that.
Uh-huh.
And Elena.
Mind you, this happened like what, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I had no idea until like 2-3 weeks ago. I met her at Jason's studio. We've been in touch throughout, this whole time through Instagram, but we never got to hang out and talk until, Jason reconnected us.
Yeah. This is just so like,
Yeah. It's definitely
amazing.
a humbling feeling for me to know that I can influence other Armenian women and
Yeah.
overall women, and we are more powerful when there is a lot more of us.
well, you're inspiring. This is just an example, this is a significant example. It's like so cool that you came and that you were able to like say that. I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm just saying, imagine how many, it's not even just Armenian women, by the way, you're really like relating to most women in the world, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Other than like big cities, seriously, think about it. Other than
Self-esteem.
LA, New York, maybe London and Paris, like a few like other progressive cities. This is women's plight still, even in America.
Yeah.
Equality, whatever, being allowed to be themselves,
Exactly.
whether it's career, sexually, emotionally, how they want to be, how they want to dress, Like they're totally controlled. Men are too. Men aren't allowed to cry. They have other things that are put on them that's not fair, or they have to be masculine. What do you mean? How can all men be masculine? It's not biologically possible. There's probably like a certain divide, like a certain percentage of men are masculine, a certain percentage are feminine, a certain percentage of women are masculine, a certain percentage are feminine. That's natural. So it's like you put these like, stringent rules. It can't possibly make sense because we're all totally fucking unique. My kids, I can't even parent my kids the same way. I could, but it wouldn't make sense. I have to give them different, and I tell them like, hey, well, your brother is more responsible about that, so that's why I need to give you a little more guidance on this. We're all different.
We all are different.
And so, like women, like some women, whatever, maybe they want, some men want to be home and take care of that, and they love running the household, operating the household. It's a lot to do. But what if you don't? You're just, oh well, too bad for you. You're unfortunately destined to a life of misery. It's not your passion. If you believe that you should follow your passion, and so you can contribute the most to your community, your people, your tribe, whatever you want to call it, then it shouldn't be one size fits all then. For anyone.
Honestly,
it doesn't matter if you're a man or a
I feel
woman.
like being a house woman, doing house things, is nothing hard. Anybody can do that. You shouldn't sacrifice your goals for house things because it's so easy. Anybody can do that. All you need is just an hour from your day to take care of your house. You don't have to quit your dreams to be a house lady. That doesn't make sense to me. Cooking is not
unless it's your
hard.
dream.
Cleaning is not hard. You can still do both.
But let's say your dream is to like make all home cooked meals, and you have lots of children, and you agree with your husband, or the husband does that and you agree with your wife that makes enough money. I don't see anything wrong with that. If it's what you want, oh my God, I love, and I want to be home and I want to be able to take my kids, and you can afford it. Or I do a little writing on the side, or I don't. It's no judgment.
There's no right
The
and
point
wrong.
is
It's
to
just
allow
whatever works.
the rainbow to thrive. Why hinder like somebody's like artistic talents? You might be able to go to an amazing show or see an amazing music video, but if they try to force you to do something you don't want to do, then everyone loses on that music video you could have produced or directed. And it's like dumb. It's like you said, you're hurting yourself by, this is better for everyone.
Right.
Don't you want a more like robust, flavorful palate out there? Like, what if your husband or wife wants to open up a restaurant and they have why not give that gift to the community?
I think it's
They're
from
feeding
insecurity
people.
because a lot of men think
Right.
if the women are successful and they have a mind of their own, they're going to overpower them and they're going to feel less like men
Yes,
than
it's
they
true.
are. So instead of putting the work in perfecting them, not perfecting, but working on themselves and embracing themselves as men,
Right.
they choose to limit women so they can feel powerful because they
Right.
don't want to put in the work.
It's true. And financial power does help, right? Like if I'm just being honest, like if a man is insecure and the wife needs them because they're a stay-at-home mom and they make the living, you can kind of throw your weight around a little bit more. But if all of a sudden she's making her own income, and I know husbands that are like, you can't work. And it's like, because they don't want them to, because they're like, no, because then they're going to leave me. And I'm like, yeah, but then be better. Like you have to have a slave.
Yes,
Like
I think
you
it's
have
very
to
selfish.
you have to hire your wife. Then you're hiring your
Very
wife.
selfish.
Meaning, don't you believe in yourself enough that a woman's gonna want you for you? No.
I mean,
What do you
even
mean?
if she leaves,
Who would want me?
Even if she
I don't do
leaves, then
shit.
let her leave. Somebody else
Right.
will come across you.
Then start doing shit. Maybe start doing the dishes once in a while, or offering to help. Because really, that's what it is. The guy's probably thinking like, well, who the hell's gonna want me? I don't do anything. I'm gonna have to just leave her at home.
Oh man.
Instead of like, hey,
Oh man.
they don't want to have to make their own sandwich. I mean, look, we are humans. We're all like, babies are very selfish because we're born very selfish. It's a survival instinct. They want it now. And like some people never grew out of that shit.
Seriously.
And a lot of men are coddled.
Seriously.
Because I had the coddling, but then at some point my mom's like, go make a sandwich. I swear. And I'd be like, what the hell? Like, you don't love me? Like, my friends, she's like, your wife's going to fucking thank me. She didn't say fucking, but she said, your wife's going to thank me. Go make a sandwich. And I would be pissed, but then now I understand, you know?
Life is
Now,
too
if your wife is just really
good.
good at making sandwiches and she wants to make it, that's
Good
okay
for
too. Right, Canoli?
Life is too good to waste your time
Yeah.
on things you don't want to do. It's too precious. You don't know
Absolutely.
what's after life. Do you get another one? What happens after? You don't know. So get the full.
Right.
Get the full experience.
Get the full experience.
Yeah.
I'm just, whether it's a simulation or not, which you can't prove that it's not, by the way, and I'm not saying it is, but you can't prove it's not, you're going to be pissed if you hadn't spoke, like you had a chance to speak on the podcast and you did. And if you didn't, like you would later go like, why did I do that? What did
I had the opportunity. It was right
Yeah.
there on my face. Why
And it was
didn't I take
awesome.
it?
Good for you. Like I thought you were going to say, oh no, I don't want to. Most people don't want to be on.
I'm very shy right now.
I know. I appreciate it. Elena,
Thanks for
trying
being
to
here.
break-
yeah,
Thanks
yeah,
for
break
being
it.
here.
Go for it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. You're doing
I'm
amazing.
with myself now.
This is actually like a really cool story. Like if you're okay with us posting
Yeah,
it.
of course.
Yeah.
Please.
All right. So what are you gonna do? Like what do you want to do? I'm just curious. Like you said you're a nurse.
I'm nurse.
Do you like being a nurse?
I love being a nurse.
Excellent.
So
All right.
when
So
I
you
was
found
little kid,
yeah.
we had neighbor who was sick. I was like 5 years old, and I was running to her house and helping to clean the, like she was going through some really bad diseases, and I was helping 5, 6 year old kid, and my mom's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm taking care of her." I'm a giver.
Yeah.
I love. It makes me happy.
Awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me, I don't expect from people anything back. It's just the way I am. I like to care. But sometimes when I see people, they just taking in advantage.
Advantage, right?
I see that. And it makes me a little bit, like, I don't like that, of course. So
Right.
yeah, and right now I start thinking who makes me happy. Not like happy, I'm a happy person, but who appreciates a little bit at least my company, or like who
Admires
accepts
you.
me,
Go
accepts
for
me.
admiration.
Yeah,
I'm not
the
kidding.
way I am.
Yeah. Like
I don't have to pretend to be someone else to be loved or cared, right? So if I have issues, and I felt few times like from people, they were trying to fix me and to teach me, put me in a box, do this, do that, don't do this. I'm cool. Like, be who you are. I will accept you or not. It's my choice. And then I understand, I'm like, you know what? Right now I'm going through like awakening time alone. I have my family, I have my friends, but I think isolation right now for me is the right thing to understand myself deeper, who I am, who really like I am, and what I want.
right.
I think everybody's process
Yeah.
has to happen alone. So
Mhm.
you don't need
Uh-huh.
to be alone to.
And
Yeah, because otherwise you're always getting outside
Yeah.
influence.
so
It's hard
after a
to-
long relationship, like 7 years relationship, I was always trying to show my partner there is other side too, like let's be more cool friends. We don't have to be in some lines, we don't have to, you know but when I saw he's not willing to change, he's always right, he always knows, so it means I can't change someone if he doesn't want to. And one day I just decided to walk away, even though I really like love that person as a friend, as
Sure.
like,
Mm-hmm.
but I was losing myself.
Right.
I'm like, no, I have to love myself first. and then others. He doesn't want to like change, and he's always right. So you cannot fight every day, same thing. It brings you unhappiness. And
Yeah, I have something that you just like made me think of that I think is so like perfect here. This is a one-player game. This ain't a two. This ain't a two-player game.
mm-hmm.
This is a one-play. The only thing I know is from these fucking eyeballs, and even like people I thought were gonna be there forever passed away,
Mm-hmm.
so they out. So it's definitely not a two-player game. It's a one-player game. I'm not saying you should like disregard people. It is a we thing because you then, to me, should put yourself, because we are tribal like animals. So it's not about saying you don't care about people. It's about playing for yourself first and then saying, who can I put myself with that will allow me to be lifted up the most, and I can lift them up the most because like I'm into what they're saying, so I can be like, oh yeah, go for that interview or whatever it is, like instead of being in a negative spiral.
Because they both exist.
Yeah.
You can either
And-
pick people
yeah.
who drag you down,
Right.
keep you where
And-
you are
and-
forever, or
And
lift you
by
up.
the way, I love everyone. Like you can love people that you're not with.
Yeah.
I don't like hate anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I want everyone to like be successful,
Yeah.
but I don't want to be with everyone, and I don't want to necessarily be around everyone. And that's your choice. That's what I'm saying. It's a one-player game, meaning you're not your his happiness is not your responsibility.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to do though.
Yeah.
But you gotta
so-
like if I wasn't happy in my relationship, I'd be gone. And if my wife wasn't happy, she would be gone. We've agreed to that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like I would never want to keep her if she's unhappy. Well, let's talk about it, or even if it hurts, that's okay. I don't expect forever, for example. That's the other thing. That's like you're setting yourself up for like anger for no reason. Just
Yeah.
appreciate the time you have together. And when the time is over because one of you isn't happy anymore, then again, it's a one-player game. She has a right to do her thing.
Yeah.
If it's not with me, if she found a better, we just have a great thing going, so we keep sticking together for like 10 plus years. But it's totally fragile at all times and strong at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of pretending to be strong and really being fragile, like being really brittle, but really you're about to like just shatter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's true. You got to be like water,
Like,
flow like water.
but
Seriously.
sometimes I feel like very intense and limiting experiences what cause some people breakthrough.
Yeah,
Sometimes
sure.
you have to push down to your lowest
yes.
to really want the highest. Sometimes that happens too.
That was around the 40-year mark for me because I was like a couple years after the divorce, and I was like, yeah, still. That was when I probably like flipped the switch for myself.
Yeah, something needs to trigger that.
Yeah.
Something. And it's
Mhm.
different for every person.
Right.
No one's journey is like the other one's.
Which makes sense because if it's working for you, then go ahead. Don't fix it if it ain't broke. If you're happy. But, I just always think, all right, why not improve? If I learn something that makes my game better, why not improve on it? It's only better for me and everyone around me. So, because it usually is. It's usually better. Even if short term, you got to let some people go. They're better off too. Because if you're not
Of
happy,
course. You're gonna
it's a
project
two-way
that on
street.
them and they're
They
gonna feel
feel
the same
it.
way. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
they feel it. If you're not happy, they just maybe are holding on because they're afraid. But they also feel from you like, man, like, why can't she love me? Why can't she admire me? Why can't she look at me? They may not admit it, but they feel it. So then let them go find their, 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 or whatever, they're looking for in their life. Good stuff.
Good stuff, guys.
So so what's next for I guess both of you?
Well, for me, I'll find out. I just
Like,
right
what should I
now
ask you about
do-
next time I see you? for example? Like,
Oh.
yeah, like
Ask me about
it's a
money.
practical
Let's
question.
talk about money next time.
Yeah.
Let's talk about money. Yeah.
So what's the deal?
Let's talk about relationship with money. Currently, I'm
Yeah.
reading a great book which is about money.
Which one?
It's called "You Are a Badass at Making Money."
Wow. Okay.
And this is a interesting fact about the book. This is not about the book teaching you techniques what to do to make
Right.
money. This programs your mind and your conscious and subconscious mind to develop a healthier relationship in your head about the money, where it comes easier. And it's a great book. I recommend everyone to read this book. And this could be a very interesting
Yeah.
conversation.
So you're gonna finish it, and we'll talk
Hopefully
about
not hopefully, for sure. I need like 3 more
All right.
days to finish this book.
it.
And
Cool.
yeah, this could be
I've been
interesting.
reading a classic. I don't know if you've read it, called by Napoleon. What's that book by Napoleon? It's like a really famous money book.
Like
Yeah, Thinking and Growing Rich.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking and Growing Rich. Think and Grow Rich. There you go. It's like one of those, like, it's probably written in the 1930s, or I don't know, but it's a little dated, but it's like one of those classics. Like, oh, you got to read that book, right? But it's, I think, probably similar. I'm thinking because
Interesting. This is probably my
like
not
it's
probably this
emotional.
is my first
Yeah.
attempt
Yeah.
to understand money, because I'm in the process of building a business, and I realized, because I am coming from a complicated background,
Mm-hmm.
even with money, I realized I am mentally still fighting with the concept of money.
Okay.
So I had to teach myself how to
Yeah, I
make
get it.
peace with the whole,
Yeah, I get it. And
So-
that we'll compare notes, because what I'll do is I'll make sure I finish it, because I honestly haven't been reading a lot lately. Just it's a lot of project work. So but it's sitting there and I keep reading a page, and so I'll just try to finish it and we'll
Cool.
compare notes.
cool.
And I also have a lot of experience with money, because I became an accountant and I worked in corporate, and so I can definitely and have my own businesses, and we're starting a whiskey,
Yeah, you mentioned
company.
this.
So I'm
Awesome.
like deep in
Let's do
financing and all that kind of
that.
stuff.
Perfect.
But I will say, like, for example, here's a good principle. I don't know if this book says it. It might actually. Don't ever think of it as spending money. Always think of it as investing. Whatever money you spend, you buy a pair of shoes, think of it as meaning it's okay to buy yourself. It's okay to buy yourself lunch. Like, you know what? That's right. I worked
Right.
hard today. I'm going to buy myself a
Right.
nice dinner, healthy, feed myself,
It's an
energize.
investment, right?
It doesn't have to be like, what am I going to sell this, dinner for? No, not like that. Not like literal, but sort of that way. Like, should I take this class? God, I can't afford $1,000 now, but think of it as like, do I want to invest $1,000 in this class for myself? Do I want to invest in this equipment? Is this going to bring returns later? I mean, at the end of the day, it is the money, because if you're treating yourself to dinners, you're also taking care of yourself. If you're treating yourself to, manicures or whatever it is you need to do to feel good, that's part of the investment in yourself.
Absolutely.
Going on vacation, all that. Don't think of it as like, I don't want to spend money on myself. Think of it as always investing in yourself, and what's the
Amen.
best way?
Amen.
Yeah. And the business too, like, obviously you got to budget things out and know what's coming in and what's going out, so you're not overspending and run out of money. But, you have to definitely, invest in yourself to grow something. Nothing's going to grow unless you put seeds in, and the
Right.
seeds cost money.
Right.
But you just got to find where you want to put that money and who's going to, and people give you money. Did you know that?
People give you money.
People give you fucking money.
That is crazy.
I just found this out recently. I'm talking like, I was never in the world of high-powered investors like Jason probably understands until like a year and a half ago. My business partner and I were working for a big company and helping them turn around and looking for investors. And people were like, oh, well, it needs to be like 50 million or more. We're not interested. Like, people have all these sacks of money and they need to put them somewhere, and they're looking for businesses. Like, and some are like, okay, I want something for $1 million. Like, it's like people, like they're playing Monopoly and they have a stack of money and they want to put it places. And I'm not saying there's a lot of these people, but they're all out there and they're looking for a good idea. And the smart ones invest in the team first. And then the idea, like, I think the business plan, like if you watch the Sharks, I like you. You're going to really push this thing, huh? Now, the business plan needs to some work and they'll do that, but they invest in the team. So I'm just telling
Thank
you,
God we're
like,
building a team now.
you
so
build your
I think
team
I'm on
and
the
don't be
right path,
afraid
but-
to go ask for money. If you have a really good idea you believe in, this is for anyone out there.
Thank you.
Yes.
That was
You don't
so
even have
cool.
to, I mean, it's good to save your own too, but you literally can, people will give you $1 million for a great idea and a great team. They're hungry, like hungry. That's what I didn't
Good
understand.
to
I'm like,
know. Good to
you
know.
want to give your money. Yes. We don't want it sitting in the bank. It's losing money. So they're looking for like, okay, a little bit in a business, a little bit in a film. I want to do a film. You know, we have investors that put money in film and they don't know what to do with it. And I know, I didn't understand this
for
world.
Two Hertz projects and
Yeah. I didn't understand this world. That's why I'm telling you, go to all these meetings, go to all these parties. You find one of those kind of people that connects with your idea. And it's like, and you know, you got to have the cheddar. You need to put gas in the car if you want to go anywhere. It's just how it works. It's part of the game.
part of the game.
That's it. Just find a good car that somebody will give you gas for. Elena, what about you? What are you? Yeah, what are you gonna do? We're gonna talk about money, and that's it. Just the money. No project that's gonna come up. You don't have like a project that
Two Hertz projects is in the process right now. So that's
Which
my
one?
main focus. The Two Hertz project.
the Two Hertz project, right? Yes,
So that's the main focus right now.
Okay.
All the works are being invested in that.
got it. What about Elena? What are we gonna talk to you about next time we see you?
Okay, my goal is still I need to work on myself, and I want to buy a house, big house with beautiful view.
Excellent. Where?
Um, I like Encino for some reason. I don't know, but I might will change my mind. I don't know.
Encino, like a single family residence, like a
Yeah,
townhome or a
no, like house.
like a house.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to. I want you to. Yeah, I want you to put it in your head, like draw it.
Oh yeah.
You should have
yeah.
Jason. You know what Jason should do for all of us? Sorry, Jason, I'm just suggesting. Make an amazing vision board for all of us. Sit with us and go, what do you want? What do you want to create and manifest in your life? It's not that you know, The Secret and all that. Like, I'm not saying maybe it does do that, but it's not even about whether the universe sends it. It's like you said, it puts it on your head. It's a reminder.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's that cool picture Jason did. Shit, I should go call that investor today. And then you're just more like, and if you believe it's going to come, you start taking action. Like, oh, I'm going to meet my investor today. And you're just looking around.
Yeah.
So, Jason, vision board. So what are we going to talk to you about? What are you going to do between now? What are you going to put on your vision board?
Okay, I'm going back
The
to
house,
school.
yes.
House.
Going back to school to for
to
your
get-
nursing
yeah.
to okay.
Oh yeah, and I'm good. I just need to heal myself a little
Yeah.
bit of trauma, and I'm happy with myself, who I became right now.
Like
This is the best version of me.
yeah,
I'm very satisfied with me.
that's
I love
awesome.
myself now.
Progress, not perfection.
Confidence. I don't care about other people's opinion. I believe in myself. I have my
Goals,
growth,
exactly.
and,
I know you're gonna do whatever you
Yeah.
want.
and I care about people's feelings.
Yeah,
And I know what feels bad, and I will never do that to
right.
nobody.
I was gonna say that it's totally okay to be a nice person and not let people take advantage of you.
Yeah.
And be assertive and go like, that's not what I want. Thank you though. Thanks for offering, but
I'm all
You don't like
about
that?
feelings.
Yeah,
I
you
have
could be nice about it.
Yeah. I feel right away if some energy is missing. I just ignore that person.
good job.
I will cut people from my life very easily. I
Yeah.
don't know it's bad or good thing, but if something's not right and it gives me different energy, I'm not dealing with that
Right.
anymore. Before I was,
Yeah, no, I
but
think that's
now
part. I
my
think that's part of
peace,
it.
my peace is
Unfortunately,
that too, just like
yeah,
finding all the.
and it doesn't like I have to, but it's not an angry cut, and it's not a. I don't think of it as forever. I think of it as
Letting
if
go.
they come back and say, you know what, I've grown and I realize I wasn't being supportive or whatever it is I want in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And if they come back and I see a true change, I'm open to that.
Yeah.
But I'm totally like, hey, love you, but let's not be together for a while. I feel like you're not good for me. I'm not good for you right now. And that's totally it kind of is what you have to do. Because if you don't do that, you're doomed.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be the director of your own movie, you know?
Yep.
You got to kick them off your like get out. If they're not supporting your movie, you got to kick them off. Serious. Elena, like I'm really like impressed with you. Like
Thank you.
like I could tell you're a very nice person. You're kind. You've been raised to be like very well mannered, and like to see you like I feel like we're gonna see you in a year, 2 years is gonna be a very different Elena, like in a good way, like meaning whatever it is, right? Because it doesn't really matter. In a good way, meaning you're gonna be more like, man, I'm like feeling good. Whatever you're probably doing more of whatever you feel you want to do, more comfortable in your skin, you know. Are you gonna start like a Instagram channel, like some kind of? Are you gonna do anything like that? You're just gonna do nursing, which is fine.
Yeah.
I'm just asking. Just asking if there's like big plan. Are you writing a book? Are you? Is there any other? Right?
I just love to make,
It's it,
you know,
you don't
serve.
have to. I'm
I
just
love to
asking.
serve people and
Well,
make them feel a little bit better than they feeling right now, even it's one person or 10.
I really appreciate that, and I wish all nurses and doctors were doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And like that's why, like you know, I love when somebody's doing something they're passionate about because that's all it should be about. If you've got that, you're like so far ahead of the game.
Because like Ani said, like on 90s in our country, we had very difficult times. Like we were struggling, like even for food.
Right.
And when I was 12 years old, my mom came to America, and me and my sister, I have older sister, so we were living in our aunt's house, and she was very like a, you know, specific lady, I would say. Don't want to call names.
Yeah.
And
Particular.
she could leave us hungry for 3 days, 4 days, and you know, when I was seeing my sister crying that she's hungry, I was like, you know what? I need to do something. And our neighbor, she was selling flowers. And I went there. I'm like, I want to work here. She's like, oh, sure, come here. And I start doing like roses, you know, like bouquets. All my like fingers were black. And she was giving me $1 at the end. And I remember first $1 I went and I bought like food, and I gave to my sister, and she was so happy. Like I remember that happiness. And right now I choose working, I'm doing like home health. I drive to patients' houses. So I choose areas, Compton, East LA. So I'm over there whole day. And I had patients that they were hungry for days. You know, when I was going to Ralph's, buying food, bringing, helping, you know, it makes me feel so. I'm not saying like I'm the best, I'm Angel, but I know the feeling being hungry for a few days.
Right.
So right now I'm just enjoying what I do.
That's
I
awesome.
love what I do.
Yeah, you're a giver. No, that's amazing.
Yeah. And like they call me, hey Elena, you know, like, are you coming? I'm like, yeah, what do you need? I know already. And
Right.
they're like, yeah. So it's so cool.
Well,
I'm into that.
Well, we are very happy that you're on our side and that you're our friend because, you know, we appreciate it. That's awesome. be you.
That's
I'm like
it.
really looking forward to seeing you again, like later, and seeing what you have to say, like what you kind of
Thank you so much.
realized or what you,
I'm
how
very
you kind
excited
of
for
learned.
you, girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this
I've
is
changed.
the beginning. It's always the beginning. Well, this was good. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Um,
Thanks for having us
Yeah.
here. I had a really good time. Good
Yeah, this was good.
conversation.
how long did it go? Wow,
I don't
11,
know,
15.
2 hours. Yeah.
Was that
I feel
2.5?
I
Almost
feel so
two
good.
and 2.5 hours,
I feel like a philosopher now.
right? I like honestly, I don't want to like also like push you guys too much, but whatever you guys want to talk about, I'm open. So
I
we can
think
even
we're
talk
good
about
for
stuff.
tonight. I think we're
By
good
the
for
way,
tonight.
I'm open to talking about stuff off camera
Mm-hmm.
because I would love like to help in any
Okay.
way I can. I've
Let's
been
do
through
that.
a lot of things too. I see things. I don't want to necessarily talk about everything on camera too. So
Cool.
just saying. But
Mm-hmm.
thank you so much for like
Thank you, Rick. Thanks
sharing
for
and
having us. Thanks for listening.
yeah,
Thank you guys
this is
all
so
for
like cool.
being here.
Elena, this was your first podcast,
I know.
right?
Yeah.
One of many, or like, is it something you think you want to do again?
I'm shaking a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe. That means a maybe.
Oh, that's
I
what we
feel
didn't
good.
talk about. Yeah, because Jason and I were talking about that you guys would do a podcast together
This is a manifestation of an idea.
to talk about. Yeah, let's keep. You still rolling? Yeah, like to talk about women's plight. I mean, obviously there's a cool connection because you're both Armenian,
Uh-huh.
but like it's not just for the Armenian community, but it is. You get to like
Yeah,
talk to
we
young
covered
women.
a little bit of it, how, in certain cultures you are destined to be a certain way and expected to be a certain way as a woman.
Yeah.
I think what me and Elena have in common is that we both are realizing that we are not down to deal with the limitations, and
Yeah.
that's definitely a challenge to face, but at the same time it's empowering, and it's great to empower other women by us being ourselves. The way I inspired Elena, we both can inspire so many more by being ourselves.
Right. How have you changed from the inspiration? Is there anything specific you've done? Like, or is just you're more like doing what you want generally? Like, is there anything specific that happened?
I got disappointed a little bit. And, I don't know, it's just some feelings. Because I'm all about feelings, how I feel, and what I see. I don't believe what I hear, you know?
Right.
But action.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so something changed. I was uncomfortable, I would say, and that made me to move forward.
Got it.
Because comfort zones sometimes puts people down, and they get used to on couch or whatever it is, or parents' money, or everybody has different comfort zone,
Yeah.
right? And I always feel uncomfortable, even in my career too. Once I started with, I'm esthetician. I was doing facials, and then I'm like, okay, I need to move on. I need to move
Right.
forward. Yeah, I'm always uncomfortable with myself. I'm like, you can do more. Just do it. Go
Right.
for it. Go for it.
Yeah.
And
Evolving.
feelings too.
Yeah.
I'm
You're
like,
always
why?
evolving.
Yeah, why am I always in this box, for example? Why? And when I
Right.
saw Ani, I'm like, damn, that's so cool. She still has like her respect to other people. Yeah, it doesn't mean you have to be like,
Yeah, there is a certain false belief in cultures, specifically mine, that if you're open and yourself and free and fearless and hot and sexy and just yourself, there's a very negative idea wrapped around that you have to be either rude or ruthless or completely careless, and careless in a negative way. And that's just a false belief too. So
Right.
that idea is what keeps a lot of women closed up, because you don't want to be the spoiled and ruthless and
And judged.
yeah, you know.
Right. Judged, outcast.
Oh yeah.
Like, I know. That's how they keep you, though. But yeah, so it's scary. That's why I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Because I know how it is. I know the culture, and I mean, although I don't know how it is to be in your shoes specifically, but I can kind of empathize. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
So
Yeah. So what do you think about doing like a podcast together? Is that something you would consider?
Yeah,
yeah, why
absolutely.
not? If we can help, like she helped me, right? And she didn't know about it.
Right.
We can help some other girls who has that fire in it, and someone,
Right.
tries to dim that
Right.
light, and
And it would be such a different perspective than anything out there. It would be awesome.
sometimes it's just few words, and
Well, and you could just talk about what would you talk about? Do you know what what would the show be called?
I don't know.
Just being the woman that you are.
Yeah, just be you.
Divine
and
goddess.
open up.
Divine goddess.
Yeah,
Or do you know
Divine goddess.
yourself who
Divine
you are?
goddess.
divine goddess.
Awakening the divine goddess within.
Yeah,
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
awakening the goddess within. Even that,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah, I think that's
because
a
that's
great
the
title.
message. Yeah,
Yeah, it's the message, because you're tapping into the truest,
right,
most authentic version of you, which
Right.
is the divine goddess.
right. Whatever that is for you, like be yourself.
Yeah.
Figure out what that is. Spend some time alone.
Oh yeah.
Because most people never have time alone. They've been with their parents, and then they like go get
They run away from
they run away. They go get
themselves.
married, whatever. They're always under external influences. Like you never go, what do I really want? What do I like? What would I do if somebody wasn't telling me what to do, right? Or expecting me to do something? I know it's hard. Got to go out to the mountains, stay in a cabin by yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Sounds like
I've always wanted to do that. I've never done that. Like just go for like 3 days, lock yourself in, probably write a novel. I don't know.
I hike.
Hike.
When I
Yeah,
hike,
that's great.
I have my, all thoughts and all feelings and
Man,
views. It's amazing.
the alone time is extremely important. And I never used to spend any alone time where like it's quiet. Like you don't have the radio on, the TV on, you're not reading anything, you're not listening to anyone, talking to anyone.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you don't do that, because if you don't do that, you're never gonna solve anything for yourself. Think about it this way. This is true. Like a math equation. If there's a math equation on the whiteboard, you're never gonna solve it unless you stop and look at it and focus and give yourself time to go, If you never look at it, if you're like, it's always just gonna be there. You're never gonna figure it out. You gotta like stop, meditate, go for a walk, get a massage, and for an hour and just think, right? Like that, where you can't move.
Yep.
You can't get distracted by your phone.
Working out, yoga,
Working out,
anything that
yoga.
gets your mind off and it puts
Right.
you in a different.
Lock yourself in a cabin for 3 days,
anything,
whatever.
right, yeah.
Right. Good stuff.
Good stuff, guys.
Oh yeah.
That's
Very
a
good
good. We'll
stuff.
leave it on that note.
Yes.
We'll have you guys back.
Absolutely.
Maybe this is your testing ground for the podcast. So you come back, let's say, in like a month or two or whatever. Do another set. Now we're like, whoa, Elena's changed her haircut. What's going on? There's a whole thing. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
That's
I'm
happening.
feeling like there's going to be
That's
some
happening.
evolution happening.
100.
You don't have to because you look great. I'm just saying, I feel like there's going to be some like blossoming happening here, which will be interesting to see. Under the tutelage of Ani,
Yeah.
master stylist, right?
Sure.
Sure.
Who's next?
Who's next? Yeah. What is it called again? The
Good.
goddess?
The
The
goddess, awakening the goddess within.
awakening the goddess within. Boom. There you go.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks.
Mm-hmm.
It's yours. That's your title. Start it. Yeah.
You got that.
We'll do another session, and that will be whatever.
Yeah,
part
and
pre,
we'll be
part
more,
2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have a lot more experience by
Right.
then. You know.
About self-love.
Yes.
It's important too.
Yes, self-love, all of that stuff. Confidence.
Sounds
How else
great
can you
to
be
me.
confident if you think you're shit? You can't think you're shit, or you have to stop thinking you're shit. I'm only saying that because a lot of us really do think we're shit. We really do
Yes.
go, "What's wrong with you?" We talk to ourselves like so negatively, right? I never knew it till I paid attention.
No more of that.
Good stuff, guys.
Good stuff, guys. Thank you
This
so
is
much
awesome.
for having us. This is great.
Knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. Knock him out the box.